All right. Let's get things rolling here. We're going to go up on the Tiki Talks. Let's go. YouTube, I am muting you for our intro music, which tonight is going to be Love and Happiness by Al Green. So if you want to play along. Hello, everybody. Hi, Allison. Hi, Dee. Welcome on in, guys. Happy Tuesday. Welcome on in, guys. Welcome on in. If you voted for Donald Trump, we'd like you to hop in the box and have a conversation with us. Neely, hey, guys. And Crystal, hello, everybody. If you didn't vote for Donald Trump, appreciate you guys liking that screen and helping out with the live goal. Appreciate you guys being here. Hey, guys. Andy, Chris, Burbles. Hey, what's up, Jackie? Nemo wasn't cheating on me. Okay, guys. You guys are funny. You can't hear the music? That's weird. That's strange. That's really weird. Do you want to stay up and see if you can hear when a guest comes up? Uh, Hold on. Comments, can you guys hear Erica? You guys can hear Erica, right? Okay. That's weird. That's strange. I've never had an issue with this before with you guys, but okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay. I'm gonna keep playing the music for everyone else. Because the world doesn't revolve around you, Erica. I, I'm gonna mute you. I feel like it would be more rude of you to sing a completely different song than what's playing. I am playing you. I am involving. I am informing you. That's so weird, huh? I wonder. Erica, can you the other times that you've come up, can you hear it when you come up? That's so strange. I wonder why. I haven't changed anything. Huh. Let me see. If there's did I change anything about my settings? No, I know you guys can hear it. I know you guys can hear it. Yeah. Yeah. That is no, that's a problem, and I don't want that to be a thing. Uh, so just as a little test, can you guys hear this? That's off. That's off the tube. That's not through. I was playing something through Apple Music. So everything when I play music for everyone when we start up, that's through Apple Music. What I just played was through the tube just now. So whatever it is, you can hear it through the tube. So there's some issue with Apple Music. So, um, but so that was weird. So if it comes from the hopefully if it comes from the browser, it'll be okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
don't try and prove anything to anyone using a song is
gonna
thing to do.
I'm gonna do that. Tony says, "Examine yourself, please, and stop criticizing." Um, I mean, I'm not president of the United States, Tony. So I'm good. But thank you.
Maybe I no, I think Tony's right. If everybody in here could do a self-examination right now of your, you know, of your bits, just to make sure there's no lumps and bumps that shouldn't be there. Well done, Tony, for encouraging good public health. I applaud you.
60% of the 40. Yeah, okay, bud. That's an interesting statistic that doesn't actually exist. That's funny. You know what's a real statistic though is that 70% of people on SNAP and benefits like that work full time jobs. 70%. Mm? Yeah, 70%. But tell us more
Uh,
about the people who need to get jobs. Yeah. 70% of
Gem-
them do.
Gemini's just made a good point. Tony, maybe we should all just get an MRI for absolutely no reason whatsoever, just because.
Maybe we should take an IQ test.
And just say that we passed it.
But it gets hard around question 25, you guys. It gets really hard around question 25. I wonder if that's around the part when you have to draw the clock. I was with my great aunt at the doctor when that test was administered, and that was when we found out that she had um, early onset dementia. But
Yeah,
anyways,
my aunt has vascular dementia, and that's not how they don't diagnose that the same way.
yeah,
They do scans and MRIs, in fact.
yeah, it's interesting. Time to get serious. Hi, did you vote for Donald Trump?
I did not.
Oh, okay. We're just looking for Trump supporters right now, my friend. But
I just wanted to make one quick comment. With his raging narcissism and this whole thing with this cognitive test that he takes, so he thinks that his everything that he does is just the greatest and no one's ever done anything greater. Aren't you a bit surprised that like we haven't gotten video or photographs of his bowel movements to tell us how wonderful those are. You know, because no one could shit as nicely as him or piss in the same volume, or
All right.
it's just a thought.
Hey, listen, man. I'm holding you personally responsible for the day that shit happens, because you know what? It's probably going to happen now that you've said it. Okay, so I hold you personally responsible.
I'll own up to it. I
All
will
right.
own up to
All
it.
right.
I literally sent Matt a video the other day that showed a blue whale swimming along in the sea, and it said a blue whale shit can weigh up to 4 tons, which makes it the second biggest shit in the world after Donald Trump.
Yes, correct. So
Good T-shirt. All right, I'll leave.
all right,
Thank you.
Thank you, man. We appreciate it. But seriously, dude, you've spoken that into existence now. So, guys, if you voted for Donald Trump, we want you to hop in the box. Hop in the box. Come have a conversation with us. We are here to talk about what Donald Trump is doing right now, all the different things that are going on in the world currently. That's what we're here to talk about. So, if that's you, if you are a Trump supporter and you'd like to have a conversation, we can have a chat about stuff. Looks like we've got someone here, another person in the box. Let's see who we got. Or not. Okay. That was
Nice of you to pop in.
That was fun while it lasted. We've got Nemo. Nemo's here. Hello, Nemo. How are you?
How's it going?
I made the mistake of going into another MAGA Live earlier today. And
How was that?
I mean, it went just as well as the other one. When somehow I just end up in the weeds and constitutional stuff with these people, and we ended up talking about the 14th Amendment, and they're like, well, you know, as somebody said just offhandedly, they're like, well, you know, and obviously illegals don't get the same constitutional protections that U.S. citizens do. And I was like, sure they do. Oh, we got someone in the box. I'll explain. Explain later. But Earl, hi. Did you vote for Donald Trump?
Yeah.
Okay. How old are you and what state did you vote in?
26, Arizona.
Okay. Do you want to discuss one of the subjects I have listed above or something else that Donald Trump is doing right now?
96% decrease at the southern border. That's what he's doing. Lowest number of encounters in 55 years. Why do you love illegal immigration?
Okay, so do you want to talk about the number that you just cited, or do you want to build the straw man that we love illegal immigration? Which one do you want to try to defend first?
I mean, either or. I mean, what are you going to deny facts?
Well, you positing that we love something isn't a fact. You're trying to build a straw man on something that none of us have said.
Because
so hold on, bud. Hold on. Time out. Just chill.
You're not gonna
Chill.
call me bud.
I'll call you whatever the fuck I want. Thanks. But
How
anyways,
about
how about you what?
No. I want to hear. I want to hear what you say.
Oh, well, thank you. That's super kind of you. Let's just relax and have a conversation, buddy. So anyways, if you want to build the straw man that we love illegal immigration, that's going to be a tough one, especially considering the fact that on a 4-year to 4-year comparison, Joe Biden did a much better job of deporting people who are coming into this country unlawfully than Donald Trump ever did. And Obama did a far better job on either 4-year to 4-year basis than Donald Trump ever did. And then if you want to talk about the fact that Joe Biden actually put up a ton of legislation to try and fix our issues at the border and try to help the Republicans and work hand in hand with them and compromise and do actual bipartisan shit to, you know, fix any of these real problems. Whereas Donald Trump, can you tell me how many pieces of border legislation did Donald Trump put up during his first 4 years in office?
I actually have a job. Sorry, I don't know.
Can you tell me?
every-
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm 42 years old. I own a business. I employ 20 people, and I have a 9-year-old daughter. Cool. So,
Do you want a
anyways,
cookie?
during the yeah, it's just that I'm far busier than you are,
You
26-year-old
must
kid
not be
with
too
no
busy
life.
to hear.
Anyways, so can you tell me during Donald Trump's first 4 years, how many pieces of legislation did he put up to fix the border?
How am I supposed to know? All I know is he brought that down.
Okay,
96%.
cool. So the answer to that question is you don't know, which means you're not really equipped to have this conversation. So I'll help you out. The answer to that
Okay.
question is 0. It's zero.
Okay, great.
So
Did-
when
did
you
he go
want
to
to
the
talk
board?
about the fact that Donald Trump
Then why
is
don't we
actually
talk about
doing,
the
hey
fact that
bud,
he
hey
was
bud, it
deporting
seems
people
like,
9
hey bud,
times?
I'm trying to help you out here because
Yeah,
it
I hope
seems
you
like
get
you're not
murdered.
really. It seems like you're not really educated on this
I hope you get
subject.
murdered.
No,
This
no.
motherfucker.
What did he say? I didn't even hear
He
what.
said, I hope you get
I hope somebody-
purposefully
I
unalived
hope
by
somebody-
another human, but using the M
Let me go
word.
see your house.
Wow. Oh, buddy. Oh, wait, where did he go?
I didn't kick him.
What? Don't.
Oh, he ran.
He ran away? Shit, I needed to. Damn it.
He was called Earl. I can see if he's still in here. But I did mute him, but
all
I
right.
didn't kick him.
Guys, any of my mods who are in the chat, don't drop people. You leave that to us, please. I appreciate you guys, but like leave that to us so that like I can get them and block them if I need to, please, because now I don't have, so please leave that to us. I appreciate you guys, okay? But thank you. All right. Guys, we do love the TikTok shop, by the way. We love the TikTok shop. We love the TikTok shop. Nuts and bolts. Hi, did you vote for Donald Trump?
Hell no.
Okay, we're just looking for Trump supporters now, friend. But I appreciate you. Okay,
Darn.
it's all right. We appreciate.
Okay.
Have a good night, bud. Thanks, Earl. All right, guys. Once again, if you voted for Donald Trump, hop in the box. Oh, that's fun. I didn't quite. I was just steamrolling him, but that's fun. Oh, nice. All right. That's a good way to start off tonight.
Everyone loves starting off with an unaliving threat, right? What's your night without that kind of start?
Man, that was awesome. Oh, this guy. Oh, Awful Madden Plays is back. This guy. I love that. I love that take because that's absolutely not what happened, and that I love that. I love that one. Of course, this guy is the guy who trolls in the comments and would never actually come up and have a conversation with us. Here, I'll invite them up, and we'll see if they'll come up. The answer is probably no. Let's find out.
John, why are you just writing random religions in the comments? That's freaking weird.
It's quite weird, actually. I mean, you can write different religions. By the way, guys, thank you all for being here on a Tuesday night with us. We're having a good time. Please keep liking that screen. Help out with the live goal. Also help out with our friends over here with Nemo and Erica. That also helps push us out to the FYP. I appreciate all of you guys being here. If you voted for Donald Trump, please hop in the box and let's have a conversation. Let's have a chat. We've invited Awful Madden Plays again. Shockingly, they're not coming up.
I've now invited them 6 times. 7, 8.
Oh, well, hold on. Wait, now we got someone else. Let's. Oh wait. Who we got here? All right. Nope. I guess not. We'll try again.
Cool.
Good times.
9.
Remember Biden's crime bill that had mass incarceration? No, I don't. Could you come up and refresh our memory? Because I don't think that's real. I think you're lying about that.
What's interesting is that Awful Madden Plays said, remember Biden's Crime 74 bill that had mass incarceration in the black community, and then whatever collection of letters that is, Jutara, whatever, said, remember Biden's Crime 74 bill that had mass incarceration in the black community. It's the 94 bill. You both fucked up the number. Methinks that you're the same person, copying and pasting, because you suck.
Hey, Nemo, remember when every single Republican also voted for that bill?
I do remember that.
It's so weird that they would call out Biden for that when every single person in their own party voted for that. So I don't understand what's the gotcha.
Well, do you also remember when the Congressional Black Caucus agreed with the bill? And do you also remember that the part of the bill that was specifically Joe Biden's was the Violence Against Women Act? How awful.
Man. What a piece of shit, right? God.
Absolute piece of shit.
Yeah. Bri, I've invited you to come on up. Bri, come on up. Come on up, Bri. Bri said I'm in my mom's basement. Oh. My feelings are hurt. Anyways, while we wait for any of these people to accept an invite or to grow a pair of balls and come up here, or I guess, I mean, more accurately, maybe lose their balls and come up here would maybe be more accurate these days. So that live that I was in earlier, I forget exactly what happened, but the initial thing. Oh, we were talking about they wanted to know my opinion about ICE, and I was like, ICE is antithetical to the Constitution, and they're doing things that are unconstitutional. And they're like, how so? And I'm like, well, they're violating the 5th and the 14th Amendment to start. And I'm like, it's like pretty easy. They're like, how are they violating the 14th Amendment? They're just going after illegals. I was like, those people have due process rights too, but also they're infringing upon American citizens. I said, take, for example, the apartment raid in Chicago. I said, where is the warrant? Where's the warrant? I said, we haven't seen the warrant. I said, there are people in Congress who are asking for where's the warrant that you guys had to go into that apartment building, and no one has produced it. I said, can you guys produce it? They're like, well, you don't need a warrant because the legals and the 14th Amendment. I'm like, the 14th Amendment is very clearly, obviously, it does cover these people, and they would be afforded due process rights. And then they tried to argue that the 14th Amendment doesn't cover. And I was like, the Supreme Court said this. I was like, look at Plyer and Doe in 1982 and Matthews and Eldridge in 1976. Then this dumb guy, I think his name was, hi Dolphin, I think his name was Foreskin is the guy's name. Naturally. He's like, I got you because this is about undocumented kids being given the same rights to go to school in Texas. That's not even what this is about. You don't know what you're talking. I was like, yeah, it's a Supreme Court case that says that they're afforded the same rights. I said, yeah, that's it, exactly. Very good. I was like, you walked right into the point. Very good. That's exactly the reason I cited that case. They have the same rights. Good job. He's like, it don't say nothing about blah, blah, blah. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, so allow me to explain how constitutional law works and the fact that this set a precedent that those people were, equal. I said, so for example, Roe v. Wade. I said, there's no abortion in the Constitution. Roe versus Wade was about the right to medical privacy, and it set the precedent that you're allowed to do this. I was like, it also would have set up the precedent for like HIPAA or other things that afford us medical privacy. I was like, so that's what that ruling was actually about. Medical privacy. They're like, no, it wasn't. You're so stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. And then they used AI and just kept putting up on the screen that it was about a woman's right to ABs. It's about a woman's right to AB, and I'm just like, I was, yeah. Call Me Boston was in there. They were they thought they were dunking on me. They were like, you're so stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. I can't believe you liberals. And then the one guy, Foreskin, who is a mod, he kept insulting me, and he'd be like, he'd be like, no, you can't insult me, and you can't overtalk me. He's like, but I can insult you, and I can mute you whenever I want, and you can't. I was like, okay, dude. And then they kept dropping me and bringing me back up and dropping me, and they kept commenting to each other every time that they dropped me. They're like, well, we do have a lot of views because of him. We do have a lot of views. We should probably And then finally, I think it was like the third time that they dropped me and brought me back up. I told them to go fuck themselves, and I wasn't going to give them the views. And I left. And then of course they're like, "Yeah, see, we cooked him. We know we did." And it was. Anyways, I don't know how I keep ending up in these situations talking Constitution with people that are woefully ill-equipped to do so.
I was in with Emma earlier, and there was a guy who literally knew fuck all about the Constitution, and what were we talking? We were talking about something. Oh, he said that he said that the Supreme Court doesn't adjudicate what is constitutional and what isn't. They are not the interpreters of the Constitution. The interpreters of the Constitution are we the people. I was like, cool. When was the last time you heard a case to decide whether something was constitutional or not? But he was a constitutionalist. That guy. And he said I said, where is that in the Constitution that you can interpret that it's down to every American to interpret it for themselves? And he said it's in the 10th Amendment. It says anything that's not under the jurisdiction of the federal government. I said, that's about states' rights. It's about states' rights. It's not.
But also it is the jurisdiction of the federal. It's in there.
Damn.
So, honestly. As soon as he said it, because he didn't say it was the 10th Amendment, and he said if it's not under federal jurisdiction, it's we the people. And I was like, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. That's states' rights. And he's like, no, it's not. And then Emma read the whole of the 10th Amendment out. And I was like, so it was what I said it was. And he was like, no.
It's so, you guys, it's so bad. Oh, look, it's our resident constitutional expert, our friend Val. Hello, Val.
I was going to stay down in the comments, play sneaky, and then Erica hurt my brain.
But the fact that Val, who didn't learn about the Constitution in school, who doesn't live under the laws, doesn't live under the construct set up by the US Constitution, knows that was about states' rights from one phrase that he said. But he didn't know that. It's fucking wild.
I was like, I'd asked him how many articles were in the Constitution. I'd asked it right away. Then I'd asked him what Article 3 is.
Oh boy! Don't even try. Hi, Army Barbie. Mikey, hi. Did you vote for Donald Trump?
No, man. I've just watched everybody in this panel fight for the last couple days in some great debates, like the absolute stupidity that you had to try to fight against lately. Today, I saw you try to fight against Matt. You in particular. I was just like cringing when these people tried to argue against your absolute truth. I applaud you.
Oh, you saw the one today. You saw that one today.
Oh my God, I saw that one. I saw the one a couple days ago.
Yeah, that was pretty
I
bad.
follow all y'all. It's just, I'm a lurker, but man, when I get up sometimes, and Nemo, you too. I'm sorry, he's teacupped, but it's just, you guys do such a great job. I love y'all, and you have a great night.
All right, thank you, Mikey. We appreciate you. Thank you very much for the kind words, my friend. Okay, have a good night, brother.
I've just been asked by Martina from the chat to remind everybody that you can vote for your state judges and reps right now. Get your butt out the house and vote, or vote by mail if that's what you do. Thank you.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely. Now's the time. Now's the time to do it. Wait a second, Val. You're saying that what Erica said broke your brain, but what I was saying did what I was saying didn't.
Oh, that broke my brain too. But I'm more used to that argument than Erica's.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's a special kind of dumb. That was pretty good.
Can you imagine coming into a panel and going, I love the Constitution. I love it so much that I think it's my individual right to like, can you imagine if that were real and it was each American's individual right to interpret the Constitution? There would be no law and order.
It's not saying there'd be no laws. You couldn't walk 50 feet without the law changing.
None at all. Once again, guys, if you voted for Donald Trump, get in the box. We'd like to have a conversation with you if you voted for Donald Trump. So hop on up. We can discuss any of the topics above or any other current events. Now, Val, you missed. Now, last night I actually played because this was funny from a couple of days ago. I didn't realize it, but they had sent me a clip of my time on this MAGA Live. It was one of those where like they send you, if you're a guest, they send you the clip, and I didn't realize that I had it, and so I took the whole 25-ish minutes, and I played most of it for everyone here, and it was a lot of fun because that argument was because somebody had said they were talking about the Second Amendment. They said something to the effect of the Constitution wasn't designed to be changed. So yeah, right. So I got up and I said something effective. No. Well, obviously, because we have amendments, it was. And they're like, well, 1 through 10 can never be changed.
Correct, but they can be modified to go to that's what the 14th Amendment was to modify the first 10 amendments to apply to all persons in the U.S.
And I kept saying to them, you can't change an amendment except if you add another one. I said you can't. They kept trying to say that you could change amendments after the fact, and I'm like, no, you'd have to add. They said like with prohibition, like you add another, like they added an amendment after the fact in 1933, and then the 21st Amendment ended prohibition. Like that's how they did that, and they kept trying to argue they're like, no, I'm like, and then they came all the way back around, and they're like, see, and I said this to them like at the beginning of the conversation, and they came all the way back around at the end, and the guy's like, what did the 21st Amendment do? And I'm like, it ended prohibition. And he's like, see, you said that they couldn't change anything, and they did. And I was like, that was the example that I gave to you at the beginning of the conversation.
If they weren't meant to be changed or added on to, they would have been called Law 1, Law 2, Law 3, Law 4, Law 5, Law 6, Law 7, Law 8, 9, and 10.
Yeah.
That would have been the end of it. And here, let me help y'all out. Women would still be wearing corsets, and we would not have any growth in this country at all.
Oh, that'd be awful. Real quick, before we get to our guest here, can we'd like to wish Kylie Mofo a happy birthday on Discord. Oh, you share a birthday with our friend Ari. Happy birthday also to our friend Ari. Said she made a post about this live being the highlight of the day, and no one has wished her a happy birthday. Kylie, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Can we get happy birthdays to our friend Kylie in the chat, please?
Kylie.
Happy birthday to you, Kylie. We're so glad that you're here. Thank you.
It's a shame you're not by the piano, Matt, or we could all sing happy birthday to Kylie.
And also we've got a guest. Maybe they're a Trump supporter. I'll invite you to unmute. Bad. Hi, are you a Trump supporter? Hello. Hello. Bad. Hello. Nope. Okay. Cool. We're knocking it out of the park tonight. Once again, if you voted for Donald Trump, please get in the box. Let's have a conversation.
That person's screen name was Badass MF.
I thought they
said sorry, they didn't mean to do that.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I was like, there's a good chance maybe that's Trump's. But anyways, thank you very much, Aaron, for the capitalism on the Blue app. We really appreciate that. Very kind of you. Thank you so much. So excellent. All right, once again, guys, if you voted for Donald Trump, get in the box. Now's the time to have a discussion. But yeah, Val, I mean, I don't know. I generally don't go into MAGA lives, but I don't know why it's happened a couple of times in the last couple of days. And it's been pretty funny, and I've just gotten embroiled into oddly specific either constitutional debates or congressional procedure debates. There was also the one where I had a discussion where somebody told me that they could not use the nuclear option to pass the CR.
What?
Yeah. And then I pointed out to him, I was like, well, Rand Paul seems to think so, and Chip Roy seems to think so, and Marjorie Taylor Greene seems to think so, and all these people who are in Congress right now, like, they seem to think that they can do it. And then I pointed out that the Republicans had just used it recently to push through some judicial nominations, and they were like, well, there's a different type of nuclear option for that, not for legislation.
What? Okay, hold on. So everybody understands the filibuster. Okay? There's a reason this allows certain bills, and you can go look up and do your own research about what bills can and cannot be filibustered. Okay? But a continuing resolution that does not seek a change would not be able to be filibustered. That's the first problem with this. So if the continuing resolution would it be worded the same way the one was in March, okay, to where they pushed everything out another 6 months, great. Okay, they could have passed that with 51 votes. But the minute they've changed the language of the CR to make this funding go away in 2 months, that changed the CR. Therefore, it needs 60 votes because the Democrats at that point can choose to filibuster it. Now, here's where it gets interesting. There's a reason the Republicans do not want to get rid of the filibuster right now. And the reason is because they have a very good sneaking suspicion they're going to need it next year.
Yup. I think you're exactly right about that. All right, Paulie, I'll invite you to unmute. Did you vote for Donald Trump?
Paulie's got bars.
I
Just
noticed that.
while we're waiting for Paulie to unmute, I have just been told by someone in the comments to tell you all off because the likes are only at 50k. What the hell is going on, team? You know I love you and I'm not mad, but I am disappointed. So if you can get those fingies working, tap, tap, tapping the screen, use several at once. That's my preference. And just get tapping and sharing, team. Thank you.
Erica's disappointed in you. Paulie, are you Pollywood? Are you there? I know you have bars.
Got some signal issues.
Yeah. Pollywood, I'm gonna drop you down. If you're a Trump supporter, I'm very happy to have you back up. Just re-request, guys. We're looking for Trump supporters. We have 700 people in here right now, and we would like to talk to you if you voted for Donald Trump. We're happy to discuss anything having to do with current events and what Donald Trump is doing right now. I see a bunch of you down in the chat. So now is your chance because there's no one in the box. So no one in the box.
To the person who said I'm studying for an art history midterm. Art history is not important. This is important, okay? I don't mean that. Art history is very important. But if you can type a comment, you can tap the screen.
Pollywood, I just muted you for a second while we were finishing our conversation. I tried to invite you to unmute, but you had bars. Please re-request, and I'll gladly accept you. That's all. Just hit the request button one more time, and I'll bring you right back up. You look like you had some service issues, so just re-request. That's all. Happy to bring you back up. So yeah, that's all.
Don't forget, by the way, to do all the other good things. So, get the hearts flying. If you want to show Matt your appreciation, you know where you can find that information. I'm not saying anything else.
Well, you know where you can find that information for everybody on the panel, including Erica and Nemo and Val, if you're having a good time. Oh, okay. Also, I would just like to add, if you guys are not already, please subscribe on the tube. We're building things up over there. You guys have been asking for it, and it's here. So go subscribe on the tube. Head over there. Drop a comment, drop a like, even if you prefer to watch over here. Thank you. I appreciate any of you guys who do that. Just go over there and do that real quick. It'll help with the algo. It'll help keep things moving. It's Politics with Matt, and you can also find the link in my link tree in the bio. So go do that. Rub-a-dub-dub. And great. So now that we've got all that out of the way, we still want to have a conversation with Trump supporters. So... cool.
Did he drop again?
Did what?
Paulie drop again?
No,
That's a different person.
Yeah. I told Paulie I said, re-request. I said, request back up. He's like, I was muted. And I was like, yeah, just request back up. And they didn't request back up. So, I don't know. I don't know what's going on tonight.
This is the fuck your feelings crowd, just in their feelings 24/7.
I know. I don't understand. I am also. It is just weird though. One thing I will say about the MAGA lives are like going in there and like kind of scrolling through some of these and seeing like 20 people, 15 people, and I'm just like, and there, of course, there's 8 of them talking, 7 of them, 8 of them talking to each other, and then there's 10 people sitting there listening, and I'm just like,
I played a few lives. I was when we were on our way to London and back from London on Sunday. I played a few lives for my brother. We were listening to Brett for a bit, and then we went into a live of a Democrat who I know, but he's not very good at keeping his panel like quiet, so everyone just talks over each other all the time. And then we went into a couple of MAGA lives, and he was like, I just can't. Just turn your phone off now. I can't listen to them all shouting.
It's pretty bad. Yeah. So, yeah, they're nuts. Yeah, it's good. Erica, can you do an American accent?
Yeah, but I won't.
I was going to say, why would you do that? Why would you do that to her?
I don't like being criticized, so I'm not going to.
I found that generally, like, unless Brits train for it, the only American accent they can do convincingly is a generic, like, West Coast California style accent. Any of the special accents in the US they can't do.
Nemo's exactly the same with a British accent as a British person generally is with an American accent, where Nemo can do like what we call an RP accent, received pronunciation accent, so like the Queen's English. But regional accents are harder because you don't hear them all the time on TV and stuff.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I mean, I was married to a northerner for a long time. I still cannot imitate a northern accent. For what, there's like some kind of disconnect in my brain. Like I try and it just breaks and it just goes back to Queen's English.
I can do a generic northern, like not from any place in the north, but just like I can do the long vowel sounds like northern people do. But it's not from any particular place. It's just northern.
I think the long vowels is what is part of what trips me up. And also, I think that I end up just going into some kind of, I don't know, dumb British person impression. Up
Yeah.
north. Up north here. Ayo.
That's London. That's London.
See,
You just did
exactly.
London.
Exactly. Like that's my issue, is that like I'll like go into some kind of weird London, Birmingham weirdness.
The easiest one, I think, for people from the southern US to do is probably like a West Country accent. You know, like so Hagrid from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
So a Bristolian accent where everyone talks like that would probably be quite easy for a southerner to do, because it's similar in its timbre.
You're a wizard, Harry.
You're a wizard,
Yeah.
Harry.
I'm a what? A wizard.
It's a
I
lot.
feel like I would just end up going into some kind of weird Irish with that.
I don't even try.
Val, you don't have an English accent on tap for us. I'm
No,
shocked.
I do not have an English accent on tap. I don't even. One, I kind of see it as a little bit disrespectful at sometimes when people try to do it and fill it out. Because I'm like going, okay, why? Especially when they're trying to impress somebody with their accent. Most of the time, to me, because I've heard different accents around the world, right? Most of the time, to me, I hear somebody try to do a British accent, and it's closer to an Australian than it is British.
Every time an American tries to do a British accent, the mistake they make isn't the way they say their words, it's the musicality with which they say them, which is not right. So everybody will talk like that, they'll speak with an English accent, but we don't say our sentences the same way. Our emphasis is in different places, and you guys will go up at the end of a set. We always go up for a question. It's the cadence is wrong. That's exactly right.
The cadence,
So
exactly,
so the accent is correct, or sometimes, but the cadence is nearly always wrong. And that's where Nemo is one of the only people that can do it, and it sound actually like a British person, because he's heard the way that we construct our
You
sentences.
spent time there, if I remember right? Nemo, you spent a lot of
Yeah.
time.
I was married to a Brit. I lived there for a few years.
Yeah.
I know when I first came there, I did the same thing. I feel like most Americans, they go up an octave in their voice, and they do the like shitty Cockney accent.
Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins.
Exactly. The rain in Spain stays mainly on the plane. You sound like you're from London. Like most Americans could pull that off.
Oh.
Someone in the comments asked me why it was so difficult to understand Ozzy Osbourne. There's two reasons for that. Number one, he had a Birmingham accent, and the Birmingham accent is notoriously difficult for not British people to understand. But secondly, the amount of substances he took during his life also affected the way he spoke. So it's a mixture of accents and substance abuse.
Yeah, you guys, if you think Ozzy was difficult to understand, none of you then you only know him from the reality show. Like, watch interviews with him from the 90s and before. Ozzy's a very intelligent and eloquent guy, actually. And Erica is right. The Birmingham accent is a bit difficult to understand for us Americans. However, it wasn't.
That sounds very likely.
Right, I know. I did love me some Ozzy. Our rest in peace. But when he was younger, he was no. It was a lot clearer. You can see it in the interviews. Go look him up. Look up clips on YouTube and whatnot. And also you can hear it with his singing and everything like that. Great enunciation. So
Weren't the
If
guys
you
from Oasis also from Birmingham?
no, they're from Manchester.
Shocking.
Manchester.
We have our
Manchester.
own version. You know, we have our own version of that, right?
Of what?
Of hard to understand English. And if you've never been to deep red Louisiana,
Oh yeah.
okay, we have our own version of this, and it's fun. But it's a version of French Creole, and but I've heard that two different ways too, because I've been to Roatan. Do y'all know where Roatan is?
No.
Roatan is an island off Honduras, and the entire island is French Creole. So it's, you know what I'm saying? It's so, but it's much clearer to hear them speak it than it is to go to Louisiana.
I mean, we could start talking about Welsh.
Okay.
And then, you know,
That's not a real language.
game over.
it is a real language.
No, it's not.
I can say 2 words in Welsh. No, 3 words. Cymru, which is the word Wales in Welsh. I can say diolch, which is thank you. And I can say cwtch, which is cuddle. And has no vowels in it. It's CWTCH. Cwtch.
I can't remember. Did I can't remember if I played the clip of the Welsh dude nailing that town name.
Yes, the weatherman.
Yeah.
Yes, we have played
Yeah.
that before. That was
Gogogoch. I can't say the whole.
Yeah, that thing.
it's pretty-
Casually, like he's talking about the weather, because he's literally talking about the weather, and he just nails it.
Well, it's because he let someone in. He let someone at the Met Office, which is our like weather office. He let them know that he could say it, and so they were like, "Right, we're going to put it in the bulletin today."
They're like, you're hired. You're in. It was the. Let's see. It is a really great clip.
Just up the road.
We'll give this one to you again, because it really is great. There he is. I can't make it any bigger for you guys, unfortunately, so you can't see the name. But here you go. This is one word.
From Llanfair to Pwllgwyn, go get a Quindrobol, Llantysilio, go.
Someone with Welsh heritage.
Oh, it's let's see here.
Now today we had a big contrast in temperature across the UK, just 12 degrees over coastal parts of eastern England with cloudy skies, but in the sunshine in northwest Wales at RAF Mona, just up the road from Llanfair to Pwllgwyn, go get a Quindrobol, Llantysilio, go. The temperature got to 21 Celsius. Now today we had...
Like what?
That's impressive.
I told you I can do the last bit, Llantysilio, go, but I can't do the rest of it.
You know there was like an office betting pool for that.
Oh man.
So if you know it, what happened with that place was it was kind of like unaliving. And so they decided to rename it, and the name means something like the tree by the hill on the lake. They just concatenated a load of Welsh words together to make a new name of a place.
Do y'all have, like, I just asked this out of curiosity, do y'all have letter limits in your mailing?
No.
Yes. You know, like we have letter limits, okay? You know what I'm saying? And like street addresses, we can't go over 25 characters.
No.
So,
Don't have that.
That's actually Val. That's a good point. That's interesting. Like, yeah, how do you put that on your Erica? Like, how do you put that on the post?
You use small letters, or a big envelope. Like
A big envelope.
it's not that. Like it's just logic. The way that English is so. the way that English, Welsh, Scottish places are named is the place, certainly in England, you have place names that come from like Scandinavian words that came with the Vikings, and then you have place names that are kind of old, like Old English, and then you have place names that have kind of Celtic roots. So there's a hill, and I think it's in Surrey or Sussex, and it's called Tor Pen How Hill. And the interesting thing about it is the word Tor means hill. The word pen also means hill. So, the word how also means hill. And obviously the word hill means hill. So this place is called Hill, 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 but in different... So it was originally, the people were like, look at the Tor, and they called it the Tor. And then other people came along and were like, what's that called? And they said, it's the Tor. Okay, we'll call it Tor Pen. We'll call it, Tor Hill. And then, so it's interesting the way that place names work.
I could see that being, I'm just like thinking to myself, man, I can't imagine. Although, as soon as you see that many letters, you know where it's going.
I mean,
I think someone in the comments is really trying to bait me here by saying Trainspotting was a great movie in the 90s that contained some Cockney accents, I think. It was Scottish. They were Scottish. All of them were Scottish.
I was about to say, wasn't that Scottish?
They were from Edinburgh.
Did you actually watch the movie? They were like, I feel like if you watched the movie, you would know they were from Edinburgh. Friend.
Well, the best bit of that movie is when they all go out on the train into the countryside, and Ewan McGregor makes that speech about the Scottish people, and he's like, we couldn't even find a good someone good to be colonized by. Like, that's how shit we are.
That was a great bit. Yeah.
And that, obviously, that wasn't a direct quote. That was my summary. I saw that in the cinema. I saw that in the cinema when I was 8. Might have been 17. It was an 18 rated film. Yeah.
It was what was the rating on it?
An 18. So our movie ratings are different to yours.
Right. Yeah, of course. Yeah. That would be like an R rating here.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, guys, I got to be honest with you. I think it's I figured we give it an hour. It's been an hour. I think we're going to need to run a restart and see if we can get some folks in here for debates, because we've got none. And I'm thoroughly enjoying this, and I know some of you are, but I think we'd like to see if we can get some debates. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come down and go down and come right back up. You guys are gonna promise to come right back. If you haven't already, make sure that you're following the main account and the backup account. Follow all of our friends right here. Erica's on a private account. It'll look like, oh, I didn't follow Erica, but you did, and she'll just have to accept you at some point after the live is over. Our friend Nemo, who's on his main account right now, but follow his multiple backup accounts. There's 37 of them. And then follow... I mean, Val, there are. And then
I know.
I mean, when you're as prolific and as popular as Nemo is, he's gotta rotate, if you know what I mean. And then our friend Val, follow Val on his main account, and then also I've noticed that Val also has a backup account. Make sure that you've clicked through and follow there. And Val does his own lives. So we'll follow everybody. And guys, we're gonna come right back up. Okay, so we're gonna see when we come back up. Like that screen, help out with the live goal, and we'll see if we can't get some debates right in. Okay? Fantastic. All right, we'll be right back, and I'll see you guys in a minute. Tube folks, give me 1 second, and I'll be right back. Hang tight. We're not going to end the stream over there. All right, friends, let's get this party started again. We're going to go live back on the talk. Here we go. All right. Pat is first. Congrats, Pat. Good job, Pat. We were all rooting for you. All right. Guys, if you voted for Donald Trump, hop in the box. Let's have a conversation. If you voted for Donald Trump, hop in the box. Let's have a chat. Let's have a chat. If you voted for Donald Trump, hop in the box. We'll give you a double shot of Al Green tonight. We had Love and Happiness earlier. We got this one for you. Which Al Green do you think I'm playing now? Oh, you heard. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, good. Yeah. Second verse. Since we've been together, loving you forever. It's perfect. I'm going to clip that. Guys, if you voted for Donald Trump, we want you to hop in the box. Let's come have a conversation. Come have a chat with us if you voted for Donald Trump. Everyone else, please keep liking that screen and helping out with the live goal, and we're going to get this thing rolling. If you voted for Donald Trump and you disagree with the above, come talk to me. Not this Al Green. There is an Al Green, yes. Yes, correct. I'm going to take that as a compliment. Thank you. Once again, guys, if you voted for Donald Trump, we want you to get in the box. We want to have a conversation with you. Yes, it's objectively a really good song. That is correct. Sorry. I don't know why that's happening now. Why did that all of a sudden change? So weird. I haven't changed any of my settings. I don't understand what is going on. So, let's see here. Yeah, right. Michael, you should request sign up. We got a bunch of folks down in the chat who are talking, but not requesting up. I want you guys to come on up. And let's have a conversation. Let's have a chat, a discussion, if you will. And that would be if you disagree with the above. Oh, Nemo found you before I did. There we go. Oh, we got someone else here. Let's see what we got. Or not. Cool. This is going great. Why is it always a Michael? I don't. It's not, Christina. I mean, it's not. Don't worry. There are other people. I number one, I didn't see him in the chat before we finished up. Number one, but number two, last night that was pretty bad. Like, I don't know, I was just like, this is like, normally I'm like, well, any op is better than no op. Tyga might be a definite exception to that rule, because holy shit, I was watching our views tick down and people were just like, nope. So, yeah. George, I've requested for you to come up. You didn't come up, George. Let's see who we got. Guys, if you are a Trump supporter, now is your chance. We've got no one in the box. We've just come back up. Guys, for everyone else, please keep doing all the good things out there. We appreciate you guys getting those likes flying again, helping out with the live goal. Once again, if you're appreciating everyone on the panel, you can show your support for them in sending gifts, obviously, but also links in everyone's bios is a great way to show your support as well. Even Erica, who is international, you can go to the PAL. You know what we're talking about. That one is in her bio as well. And so yeah, you can do that. We'll if you got a message or something you want us to read out or blah blah blah, it's we'll do it for you. But yeah. Yeah, guys, we have 500 people in here. So yeah, user string of prison numbers, come on up. Michael Talent, come on up. George 2025, come on up. Hanson, Bop, come on down. Yeah, boy, lots of you guys chirping away in the chat. Let's see here. Someone in the box. Let's see, maybe. Michael, hi, did you... I'm sorry, excuse me, Michelle, did you vote for Donald Trump? Okay, how old are you and what state did you vote in? Okay, do you want to discuss one of the subjects above or something else that Donald Trump is doing right now? Okay, great. We could start there. Why do you think Donald Trump didn't cause the shutdown? Yeah. Okay, so I have to be honest with you. I mean, I disagree that, because you're asserting that the president didn't cause the shutdown, but there's somebody that thinks the president caused the shutdown there's somebody who thinks that he did that I would agree with, that I think you should hear. So, nope, no, ma'am, I'll play the clip for you. So here's somebody that agrees with me that the president caused the shutdown.
He's the one that has to get people together. The president would be blamed.
Yeah, so that would be Donald Trump.
Well, that's AI. That's AI because that's his voice, and he wouldn't say that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Would you like to?
Sorry,
Would you?
it's AI.
Oh, cool. Would you like to see the video? I'm sorry. I can show you the video. Here's the video. And this is him on the news in 2011 on NBC Today. You can look up the video yourself.
Well,
It's
we're talking about
archival
2011. We're in 2025.
So Michelle,
That's a whole different spectrum.
So Michelle,
that's a whole different spectrum.
So Michelle, you're saying that it's not hypocritical for the president of the United States, on one hand, to say that it's the president's responsibility to not cause a shutdown, and then when he's the president, to not take responsibility for causing the shutdown?
I'm sorry, it's the Democrats. You cannot.
No,
call
Michelle.
me out on this
Michelle.
because
Hang on,
it's
Michelle,
Schumer
friend.
and Pelosi.
Michelle, time out, friend.
You know why?
Michelle,
You know why?
Michelle,
Because
Michelle,
none of them are
Michelle.
being
I'm not
affected.
Michelle. Time out. I'm not letting you steamroll. I asked you a specific question. We can continue to talk about this, but I asked you a specific question, and the question was, Donald Trump himself said, this is the president's responsibility. It would be on the president of the United States if he isn't the one to
he
come.
wasn't
I'm not even
president during
finished
that
with.
time.
I'm not finished with my question, friend. Could you please let me finish the question? Then you can answer. Donald Trump said, it's the president's fault if this doesn't get done. If they get to a shutdown, he should be blamed. It's the president's responsibility to bring people together. And now the president, he's the president, and now he's had 3 shutdowns under his first administration and now this administration. So what I'm asking you is, don't you think that that's rather hypocritical for someone to say, hey, it's the president's fault if this doesn't happen, and then when you are the president, you have it happen 3 times?
I'm sorry, but Barack Obama was president during that time.
I understand that that's not the question that I'm asking. Michelle, are you understanding what I'm asking you?
Please ask it again.
Matt, she's not listening. She's busy talking to whoever else is there.
She's listening to respond.
Michelle, just a quick question for you. If I do you have kids?
I have 7.
Wow, holy cow, that's amazing. I have a daughter. If I just out of curiosity, if I as a father said before I have kids, boy, you parents should never discipline their kids in a certain way. That's really wrong. Hold on.
Just say it for what you want.
I just said discipline your kids in a particular way, however it may be. But then when I was a parent, I disciplined my kid in that very way. You would say, hey, Matt, that's pretty hypocritical of you because you used to say, don't do that. You're a hypocrite. You would say that to me, wouldn't you?
Number one, I would not say that. You know why?
Oh,
Because
Jesus.
you
So
didn't have
okay, so you're
kids
fucking
yet.
okay, so you're
Because you didn't have kids
so you're disingenuous as fuck is what you are.
No, I'm not.
Okay,
actually.
all right, so you're not. So you literally wouldn't use the most obvious hypocritical situation. All right, so you're just disingenuous. So we
Do you
can't
know
have a.
I've said a lot
All right,
of
so
things
Michelle,
that you never say.
no, Michelle, I don't care. So basically, what you're saying is that we can't have an honest conversation because you don't live in reality. Like, you could just admit that Donald Trump is kind of being hypocritical, and then you left. Okay, cool. Bye.
We don't have enough box wine to sustain her anyway, Matt. It's fine. It's not a problem.
I saw your text. Thank you. That's wow, that was okay.
She was hunting all the talking points. I mean, she's typical. You know what I'm saying? We refer to him as Haga now, but she's typical of that whole movement Guaranteed. Considers herself ultra Christian.
I mean, 7 kids. Holy cow.
Well, she obviously wasn't a quick study.
Oh, that's a new one I just saw in the chat. Apparently, Israel is paying the Democrats to shut down the government now.
Why would Israel? Why would Israel? Why? Can the person that said that please come up and explain how would that would in any way be in Israel's interest to shut down the U.S. government?
That would be great, guys. I really didn't think I didn't think that would like make her drop. I honestly I would have gone a lot easier. Jeez, okay.
Go that hard.
I was like okay. Colin, thank you for the capitalism on the Blue app. Says, I thought Neanderthals died out long ago, but Republicans are still alive, sadly.
Did we find the missing link?
Thank you, Colin. Appreciate that. Boy. Guys, if you voted for Donald Trump, get in the box. Let's have. Could you do better than Michelle over there, please? MTG is the missing link, maybe. So.
I was trying not to state the obvious.
Yeah, maybe. All right, here we got here. And guys, we're hi Ray. Did you vote for Donald Trump?
Yeah.
Okay. How old are you and what state did you vote in?
I'm a grandfather, man. I'm old enough.
It would just decade. How what age range are you?
I'm in Georgia. I'm a grandfather.
I understand. Are you you're in your 60s, your 70s? Where are you at?
I'm for 50.
Okay, thank you. That's all I need. Just in 50s
What
is fine.
difference does it make if I'm over 18, sir?
I'll tell you why it matters. Because number one, it's my live, and this is how I run it. But number two is
well,
when
stick your live in your ass.
Excuse
me.
Fuck
out of here, bitch. Nosy.
That's a lot of words for a 55-year-old, isn't it?
Imagine just imagine being that soft. Just if everyone can, just imagine being that soft. Again, I'll remind you, this is the fuck your feelings crowd.
We're the snowflakes, guys. Lansden, hi. Did you vote for Donald Trump?
Absolutely not.
Okay, friend. We're just looking to try to get some Trump supporters right now, but we appreciate you. Okay.
I just wanted to call out the guy who actively joined just to cause a ruckus. Absolute nuisance.
Okay. All right. Thanks, man. We appreciate it.
I look forward to watching your live. Sorry.
All right. Thank you, friend. You're all good, man. Have a good night.
You too, man.
All right. Bye. Thanks. Guys, I ask everybody there. The reason that it's not just are you over 18? I'm actually actively interested in knowing how old you are, because it tells me a lot about where you are at in your life. Are you in college? Are you just starting out in the job market? Are you a young parent maybe? Are you maybe you're my age, you're a few years into being a parent and maybe you own a home. Maybe you're that guy's age and maybe your kids are leaving the home or I guess you're a grandparent at 55. I don't know. I don't know, but it tells us a lot about where you are, and it can give us context so that we can better understand each other in a debate and have a good faith conversation. That is why I want to know how old you are. And if you don't want to say specifically how old you are, like I just said, just tell me the decade. He could have just said 50s. That's fine. That's good enough. But that is the reason why I would like to know that information. It has nothing to do with anything else other than I want to have a good faith conversation with you, and it gives me more information to do so. It's genuine. So that's all. So everyone knows. That's where I'm coming from.
I find though, if you listen to people's tone of voice when they come up, if you say to them, "Did you vote for Donald Trump?" they always say yes. Like they're really unhappy about the fact they voted for Donald Trump. Whereas if you hear people who come up and didn't vote for him, they just sound a lot happier. Just sound a lot happier.
Yeah, Todd Jones needs to come up because he's going more and more downhill with this statement.
Todd Jones, Don. Ask and you shall receive, Val. Todd, hi. Did you vote for Donald Trump?
Absolutely.
Okay. How old are you, and what state did you vote in?
52. I live in Texas.
Okay, great. See, look at least Todd got that part. We got that, and you've got a fellow Texan on the panel here with you. So now, Todd, I would ask you what you want to talk about, but I want to ask you about the comment you were making in the chat. So, do you want to explain why you think that?
Yeah, I mean, it seems very much like the example that you gave about Donald Trump's comment earlier about who would be at blame if there were a shutdown of the government. You have a whole army of people with a decade worth of background saying, hey, it's not appropriate to hold the government hostage for your political desires. You need to be prepared to sign a continuing resolution and continue to negotiate and not hold all these benefits back from everybody in the government. And suddenly you see an entire really well-established group of people just do a pivot and a reverse course. And so you start to think about what has just happened here that may cause that? And you look at a situation where the current president has used a significant amount of negotiating authority and leverage to cause a nation that, no matter what your side is on this, you probably can admit that they tend to do what they want to do and try to overly pay all of our politicians to, control our narrative in this country. And they're the only foreign nation capable of doing so because of the way we've allowed them to spend their money in lobbying. So it's pretty, it seems pretty evident. And there's some talk about it that the money has started to flow differently and stronger towards those who are willing to cause disruption to the current government. So, and I don't know all the reasons why exactly the young lady on the panel asked, but perhaps if we're distracted and we have our own limitations on what we can spend, we may not be so aggressive in stopping them from causing the ceasefire to fail, from them going on to do additional actions that, frankly, are not in line with the ceasefire agreement that was just signed. So that's where I'm coming from.
Now that we got past a bunch of minutia.
Yeah, given the track record of that particular country, it's pretty irrelevant if the government's open or not. They continue to do it. I mean, they were the ones that broke the exact same ceasefire agreement that existed, the one like this one right now. It existed once upon a time when Biden was president and the world was, not so shit.
What happened right after that?
Oh, the world became a dark hellscape because Donald Trump came into office. But no, Israel broke the ceasefire agreement.
Look, I'm not arguing in Israel's favor here. What I'm suggesting is regardless of what party is in place, if you put pressure on them to do something, and you have to admit that Trump did, if it's not, and it's not all of Israel, right? It's whatever the ruling party is at the time. But if they have established a lobbying base that's unbelievable, and we've allowed them to have ridiculous amounts of access to our politicians. So distracting our government and making it weaker is certainly something that they're capable of doing in retribution for if they believe it'll serve their purposes.
You've gone down the lobbying instance twice. Sir, what party brought Citizens United to bear?
Is AIPAC exclusively powerful because of Citizens United?
What party brought Citizens United?
Was AIPAC would AIPAC figure out a way to give money a different way?
It's a non-falsifiable argument.
Yeah, that is a false argument. Sir, which party brought Citizens United to bear?
If it feels better to say the Republicans are primary behind that, then you can have that. But that's has
Okay,
nothing to do with the
Citizens
current
United, no,
topic.
it absolutely does, sir. Citizens
Okay.
United is what opened up the floodgates to the money that's pouring into Washington and politicians right now. It was Citizens United that did that.
And so AIPAC didn't have control over our politicians or a significant presence in a status where they're the only foreign government that can give money to our politicians without it being
with 1/8 the funds they have now.
In a more documented way, perhaps.
Okay, so and more documented. Sir, do you not understand what this opened up?
I understand it completely, but that has nothing to do with my argument right now.
What can churches not give money to?
Politicians, I assume.
That would be correct. Politicians. What can they give money to?
Churches?
What can they give money to?
Damn near anything else.
Like corporations, maybe?
What does churches
Why
have
do
to do
you
with this?
think,
We're talking about a foreign government.
Because no, sir. Because I don't think
Did
you
Citizens United
understand
allow for foreign
when we
governments to
talk
have
about
access to
dark
our
money and we
politicians?
talk about the things that are making it into political
No.
figures' pockets right now.
No.
We need to talk about
You're
churches.
screwing up two different
Because
topics.
no, sir, I'm not.
Yeah,
Actually.
you are. Foreign governments
and I'm
were
gonna
not allowed by
finish this. I'm
Citizens
going to
United
finish this
to.
just like I let you finish yours.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So, sir, first off, because of the flood of money that can come into corporations from churches that could not put that money forth before, through people like the Heritage Foundations, through organizations like the NRA. Okay, this has allowed that money to also get into politics. This is how dangerous Citizens United actually is. And it's hard to fight that money.
I'm not
AIPAC is a
100% sure
problem.
that I disagree with you on
I
Citizens
agree
United.
with you on AIPAC is a problem. I think everybody.
Yeah, it's a foreign government. Citizens United had nothing to do with AIPAC.
Right, I'm really sorry, Todd. People let you speak for 5 minutes without being interrupted. You did a whole fucking monologue, and now every time Val talks, you are doing nothing but interrupting him. Let him finish, and then you respond. I don't like having to use my teacher voice, but I fucking will. Shut the fuck up.
But I said AIPAC. I said I agree with you that AIPAC is a problem, but Citizens United is a larger problem. Okay, this has created money in politics that has never been seen before. I mean, we're talking about political presidencies that ran on $1 million budgets that are now in the billions.
Todd, are you still with us?
Oh yeah, just waiting for my turn to talk.
When somebody finishes speaking and it's obvious that they're done speaking, that it's your turn. Just asking not to interrupt somebody in the middle of a sentence. That's all.
I know. I'm not all that interested in the Citizens United conversation because that's not what you asked me to talk about. I'm talking about a foreign government having a individual right to play in our politics, and it's got nothing to do with Citizens United. However, I actually am kind of in agreement in the vast amount that we should do many things from a campaign finance reform perspective to stop vast amounts of money coming in from organizations. That would be a more preferable situation, in my opinion. So, but what I'm suggesting right now is that when you see a party that has stood for many years on the fact that you should not shut down a government as a hostage situation for all intents and purposes to try to get your political will, then suddenly pivot and it all is coincided in a very strange timing, and you see money flowing very differently than it has in the past, then you can start to make some assumptions, and then but okay, but so we'll
Well,
talk about
let's
Citizens United, I guess.
no, we'll end that assumption right now, sir. The Republican Party has every bit of the capability to do away with the filibuster right now.
They stand on the fact that they don't want to do that. Many
Thoughtful, hold on.
many
Hold
thoughtful
on.
senators
So
don't want to do that.
who's holding hostage now?
That would be a degradation of the democratic system. If you want,
Degradation? Was that part of our system when we were founded?
it's been part of our system for almost 100 years, I imagine.
No.
Most of the thoughtful senators I know think that it would be a problem if we went to just a pure majority 51 rule on everything.
Why
I think the Democrats
is it a problem for the minority to control the majority?
They don't control. They have an ability to speak up or to sit there and stand in the way. Like, look what happened with
Using
the
the
judicial
capability to
nominations.
control the majority. Okay, I'm pretty much done with the filibuster, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying, on my thinking of it.
I think a lot of far left people are.
But here's the thing, sir. They could do away with the filibuster, or they could do one other thing. They could keep the CR the same, which would fund everything until March of next year, instead of it cutting off in November. If they kept the CR the same, and then that would also only take 51 votes.
I love the way that
Why
Val
would
is
it-
now far left, by the way.
Yeah.
Because what makes you think that Val is far left?
It's the only party that I've seen promote
The
getting
far
rid of the
left isn't
filibuster.
a party, you idiot.
It's the only portion of it. Even like Biden, who came in as a moderate, was elected as a moderate, but clearly did not rule as a moderate, right? He absolutely swore he would never get rid of the filibuster. And yet he found himself in a situation due to the far left of his party being drawn into a position where he was supporting it. And if it weren't for Manchin at the time, they actually would have passed
I'm
it.
sorry, I'm going to interrupt you, Todd. Can you give us a far left policy of the Democrats that they put that under Biden?
I sat there and watched. I work at a financial institution, and I saw the CFPB be used to fundamentally try to destroy credit policies in such a way, and I'll use the term, and you guys probably also got it, using DEI
So
as
you,
an excuse.
no, hold on, Todd. We all listened to that. We all listened to that bullshit Joe Rogan episode too. It's fine.
I'm
You
not
can
talking
skip over
about
that
Joe
part.
Rogan. I'm talking about the
it's
meetings
fine.
I sat in with the CFPB.
No, you need to
I'll give you
stop
an
because you
example. I'll
don't.
give you a
Todd,
perfect example.
Todd, you don't know what far left is. You don't know what far left
Communist,
is.
socialist, Marxist.
No, you don't know what far left is.
I
Todd.
don't know what it is.
No, you don't.
Why?
And
Because
it
you say
doesn't.
so?
It doesn't exist in U.S.
Because you have
politics.
declared in your teacher
It doesn't
voice?
exist in U.S. politics, and it never has existed in U.S. politics. What you call far left, the rest of the world calls centrist or centre left at best. There are no far leftists in American politics. Even Bernie is only advocating for what the majority of developed nations have. So it's not even progressive to the rest of the world.
So I'm married to a Dutch woman, so I spent a lot of time in Holland. And so I recognize a kernel of truth in what you're saying as far as where the center sits between the United States and in Europe. But what we are talking about, if you are labeling far left as, and you're claiming I don't know what it is, as a social net, right? Expanding a social net
No, that's
with
not far.
with a mild
You already
representation
said,
between.
no, I can't listen to this stupidity anymore. You just said communist is far left. So give us a communist policy. What are they trying to do away with? Is it currency they're trying to do away with? Do they want us to go back to a feudal system where we're like trading goods where we're, trading 20 carrots for a rabbit? Is that like what again, a far left policy?
Well,
And we're
that's not
talking
even.
far left.
Yeah, that's not even communism.
No, it's feudalism.
I mean, that's
Now, lending institutions would be an example, and I'll give you an example.
no, sir.
And I'll-
Hold on a
I'll talk about
second. Give me a definition of communism, please.
My personal definition of
No, there is
communism.
an actual definition, and it's in the name.
Well, my understanding of communism is when the means of production are owned by the all
Well,
of the.
see here,
No,
and that's where you fail right
Yeah,
from the
that's
beginning.
socialism.
Yeah,
You're
that's
describing
socialism. Right. See, the thing is, sir, the reason you fail with this and the reason you all try to use communism is because of what you just said a minute ago when you tried to compare a political spectrum to separate from the US and the UK. A political spectrum is a worldwide event, sir. Wherever you fall on the political spectrum worldwide is where you are, period. It's not adjustable based on country. Your definition of communism comes from the 1950s. Okay? And it is not actual communism. Communism is a communal way of living. And sir, the first problem you have when you discuss communism is that there is no government in communism.
I assure you that there's a leader in any organized structure.
Sir, the last people that I know of in the United States that were even close to any form of communism were Native Americans before the 1600s.
And the only people that have tried since then in America is wait, how old are you again, Todd?
52.
You're not quite old enough, but what were the hippies doing in the 60s? Where were they living? Communes. And what it's right there in the word. A commune is a place where a bunch of people live together and there's no leader and everyone is equal and they all try to do the same amount of work and they share everything equally and they try to coexist in that manner. It's literally in the name, a commune. That's
try
right.
to coexist.
Exactly.
Animal Farm.
No, not Animal Farm. That's incorrect, sir. So, anyways, I know you would like for it to be that, but a commune in the way that we're talking about, it's not the same thing. And pure communism in the way that we're talking about is not Orwell, because that's communism that's been tainted.
Yeah.
Like kibbutzes would be a good example, right?
Well, the thing about Animal Farm is a critique.
Yes.
Showing that actually it wasn't communism. That's what.
Or the communism.
No.
Any organization without leadership.
George Orwell. George. Right. You clearly don't know anything about George Orwell. In the Spanish Civil War.
I know about organizational dynamics.
In the Spanish Civil War, George Orwell fought with the communists. That was the side that he was on. He was critiquing what had happened in Russia and was saying that isn't really communism.
That's it. The whole point. He's saying, look you can have this really wonderful thing, but then here's where it's tainted. Now it's not really this thing. That was the whole point of it, is that this is great, but now it's not, and it's bad because of this. That's the whole point. It wasn't just communism is bad. This is how it went wrong.
Look, I'm not.
I know you didn't listen. You didn't. That's anyone who looks at Animal Farm and thinks that just says communism is bad. Clearly didn't understand anything about the book. No, it doesn't.
The real risks of what can happen.
Yeah. Well, listen. The bottom line is that you're way oversimplifying now.
No, and the thing is, Orwell also was a harsh critic of any authoritarian regime, and that's what 1984 was about.
100%.
Like he was critical of authoritarianism in any of its forms, and he didn't like that there was an authoritarian that they were calling it communism, but it was actually authoritarianism.
Look, there's been no lack of times in my life that I've had a conversation with thoughtful individuals, either over a bottle of wine or whatever, and said, look, at its core, the communist idea is a beautiful idea, but it is met with the same
What you think
human
of communism?
flaws
No,
that
shut the fuck up. What you think of communism? We don't care. The point is, there are no communists in the Democratic Party, and nearly every single far left person that I know in the US didn't vote for. They definitely didn't vote for Kamala Harris. They may have voted for Donald Trump because they're what we call accelerationists, and in their view, Donald Trump was going to burn it all down. And they wanted that to happen as soon as possible. And we've spoken to a ton of those people on this live who were accelerationists far left. They're all for Donald Trump because they want him to burn it down.
Yeah. Anarcho-communists, and we don't agree with them.
And the thing is, sir, is communism, the reason it would never work in America or really most developed countries today, the reason it would never work is because it only takes one person with ambition. And it's all over.
So again, the whole thing here, Todd, is you can't say these things about, like, for example, you're saying these things about the Biden administration, that he went from moderate to far left. You can't name a single far left thing that Joe Biden did, because he didn't. Not only was Joe Biden quite moderate, he was amazing at compromising with the Republicans. The government didn't shut down once during Joe Biden's time as president, and he passed 5 major pieces of legislation. He would have had a 6th if it wasn't for Donald Trump, and it would have been the most bipartisan piece of legislation that he passed. Again, if not for Donald Trump killing the legislation. So I don't this saying that Joe Biden was far left is that statement has no teeth, my friend.
No, I'm saying that he was a long-standing moderate who changed his position, and I was trying to use the example of what happened with the
Corporatist that
CFPB.
always has been a corporatist. It's never changed.
So the example that I was trying to use and was not able to get out is when the CFPB comes in, and I'll just let you guys, if you'll give me just 45 seconds, you guys can rip it up to shreds if you like. But we have something called a credit bureau, right? And we have a credit score. And we built a model that did personal loan, auto, multiple types of underwriting clearly off the data with no capability of rate lining, no capability of redlining, no capability of anything else. The CFP comes in and says, prove to us that there is not a more equitable way to make this credit decision. And we're like, well, here's the thing. It doesn't take into any way, shape, or form any acknowledgement of ethnicity or anything else like this. This is strictly off of how people have paid their bills in the past. It's strictly based off of their past behaviors. And that is what we believe is the most equitable way from which to extend credit moving into the future. And they're like, okay, well, we need you to go back and prove to us that there's not another model. And if you can't prove to us that there's not another model that's more equitable, then we're going to consider putting fines down on you. At that moment, I knew that everything had gone completely jacked. And now that we are dealing with a situation that strictly wanted to tear down the lending institutions, and that to me leans far left in the sense that, okay, let's attack the actual lifeblood of a capitalist system, which is the ability to distribute capital and do it in the most, it has not always happened in the most equitable way, but when you're trying to do it in the most equitable way, we're still going to attack it. That's my example of a government institution under Joe Biden that went way, way, way far left, in my opinion.
Wow, that was a whole lot of BS in one sentence. Okay, so sir, first off, what you're describing is what's referred to as weighted credit scores. Okay, weighted credit scores have been around for, I don't know, about half a century. Okay, weighted credit scores are used by different lending bureaus, weigh those scores different ways. Home lending weighs their score differently than auto lending does. And then credit cards weigh their score differently than auto lending and home lending does. This has been around for decades, okay? Nobody's ever tried to change it.
And I can also tell you there is nothing in TransUnion, Equifax, or any other credit reporting bureau that has your race or creed in it. Because that would be against laws such as Dodd-Frank.
When you say nobody has ever tried to change it, so we have access to behavioral information as well. If you have a membership, let's say, of 12.9 million people,
Sir,
you
that
can
does
actually
not
see
affect
how they
Equifax.
engage.
That
No,
does
no,
not.
no.
That does
Yeah, but
not go
you're
after
suggesting
Equifax,
Equifax makes the decision.
TransUnion,
I'm suggesting
or
that we
it
do
does
not
not,
just
sir.
go off of a credit score.
You
We do
are
not just go off of a FICO
absolutely
score.
full of shit.
You're absolutely wrong, and you have no idea what you're talking about from
I
an
don't.
underwriting perspective.
I
No,
don't.
you don't. No.
Okay.
Don't, sir. See, a lot of people know what I've done in my education, but not a lot of people know what I do for a living.
Well, a lot of people on here don't
Okay.
know what my education and don't know what I do for a living.
Sir, I am a licensed mortgage broker.
I own a mortgage company. I own a real estate company. I've sat on 2 publicly banked boards. And I'm telling you that this financial institution had created its own underwriting capability. It still exists today because it never got to that point because there was a change in administration.
Absolutely not.
You can say absolutely not all you want.
Sir, what you're saying is absolutely false. It is a dog whistle.
Because you know that
In the credit world, what
credit,
you are saying is
because
an
you know that there's a truck
absolute
merge.
dog whistle. And the number of laws that exist to stop exactly what you're trying to explain are extensive.
Are you suggesting that there are not even new credit models coming out right now that replace FICO?
There's all kinds of credit
The
models.
Vantage score is a very, very new one as well that does not is
Sir,
not
our
prone to
last
just a
change in
charge.
our last change in the credit score laws happened when the credit score went from an 850 to a 900, correct?
Man, you are literally talking about a mortgage-backed security environment, which is also government subsidized.
Oh, sir, you
Has the
don't think I
most
understand auto and credit
regulation
card?
ever. Yeah, it has the most regulation associated with producing that asset and trading that asset. You have no idea how that translates into a consumer product like a personal loan or even an auto loan where you do not have the same government backing. There's not the liquidity, 24-hour neon
You're
sign
talking
of
conventional
constant
versus
liquidity.
you're talking about conventional versus government backed.
I'm talking about government subsidized entities for mortgages, and you're a mortgage broker.
Val,
Yeah, sir, you're talking about FHA,
Val,
You
can
are
I?
very
Fannie,
tight.
Freddie Mac,
What-
Fannie Mae,
There,
Hey,
there are no
Val,
there is
can
no
I
and
ask?
VA.
leeway in how you can look at credit.
Val, can I ask I'd like to just ask a question here. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't the CFPB created under Obama like 15
It was.
like 15 years ago?
Yes, it was.
And anyone on the panel, Val, Nemo, Erica, any of you guys, were there any new laws passed relating to the CFPB during the Biden administration that I missed or that I'm not aware of? Because
There was not.
I don't remember
No,
any.
there wasn't,
And
but that's the
also,
point.
during the Trump administration in their 4 years, I feel like they didn't really do anything related to it. So it's almost like nothing has changed, but you think that somehow under the Biden administration, everything changed.
This is the power of the executive branch, one way or the other. You're seeing it under Trump. You
Whoa,
saw
whoa,
it
whoa,
under
whoa,
Biden.
Wait a second.
If you decide
Hey,
to hire,
Todd, stop. You actually have to quantify shit. You can't just be like, oh, well,
I'll
we
quantify
saw
it
it.
for you.
Cool. How would we quantify
I'll
this?
quantify it for you.
What
When you go out and you
executive- no,
hire
Todd, stop.
500 new regulators that are
Todd,
between
what
the age of
Todd,
22 and 30
Todd,
who have no idea
Todd,
of their
Todd,
industry,
stop.
and then you give them
Todd.
an incentive plan on.
What executive order was it?
Say again, please.
What executive order was it?
It's through your administration you can promote any movement that you want within government entities. Like if you decide to go hire exactly that 500 new regulators between the age of 22 and 30, and you want to pay them and then give them a bonus structure on what they give out in fines, you're going to get a small army out there that is looking to make fines, and they don't even have enough time in rank, if you will, to
Provide
actually
proof of that
regulate
bonus.
the
Hold on,
industry
hold
that they're
on.
dealing
Can
with.
you provide proof of the bonus structure you speak of?
100%.
Well, I'm waiting.
I can't do it on this phone call.
This isn't a phone call, and you have a supercomputer in your hand.
I'm
and
sitting
you
in my
can-
backyard on
Yeah,
my deck.
you have a computer, Todd.
Anybody ever heard of a bonus structure in government jobs?
No, but this is the thing, Todd. You have a
Check out the
computer.
CFPB.
Don't unmute while I'm talking. You have a computer in your hand. You'll notice. Well, maybe you wouldn't because you were too busy talking. That just a minute ago, like my screen went to a little teacup. That's because I was looking something up. And interestingly, the first news story because I was looking up what you said about the CFPB. The first news story that came up is that Donald Trump is trying to get people's medical debt included on their credit score, which I don't know. That sounds like government control to me. Is that far left? I don't know.
It used to be on the credit score, and then we
So go look up.
I agree with that. Like, we shouldn't.
Go look up your proof for what you're saying, and come back and show it to us. Take a screenshot, bring it back, or tell us the source.
The source is knowing the actual regulators. that
No,
were
go find a source. Like again, it doesn't, and the fact that you're not teacupping is showing me that you're not looking anything up.
I'm sitting on my phone. I'm not going to sit here and type away on my phone. But
then you don't get to talk. Like, this will all be quicker if you go find what you're talking about. I'm just like, again, I don't like having to use my year 8 voice, but I will.
But you will. But you will. Guys, keep liking that screen. Keep supporting everybody on the live. Appreciate you guys being here. Yeah, I'm glad you guys are here. If you're a Trump supporter, hop in the box. Let's have a conversation.
Oh no, somebody thinks I'm rude. I will definitely cry myself to sleep tonight about that.
Mm-hmm. So, by the way, Val, sorry, I didn't mean to. I wasn't trying to totally cut you off there. I was just trying to. I was just wanted to get. I was just trying to get to the point with him because I was like, we gotta this whole thing.
When you get into the economics things, it gets boring. I get it.
No. I mean, I find it. I'm fine. I was just like, because it recurred to me. I was like, wait a second, this was an Obama thing. I was like, this has been around for too long. And then I started thinking to myself, I'm like, I can't think of a single thing that made any sort of waves and sort of a change, and I was very confused. Very confused.
Did not. I mean, the biggest thing to, you know what I'm saying? The biggest thing to mortgage and mortgage brokers and credit, across the deal was interest. Okay, that was an actual pain. You know what I'm saying? Was the interest rates going up? But I understand why the Fed raised the interest rates. They had to. The only way to stave inflation is to reduce debt.
Yeah, I mean, what good is low interest rates if people are starving because they don't have money to buy food, right? So, or I'm sorry, Eric, what were you gonna say?
No, all I was going to say is, Val, my job before I was a teacher, I worked for what was at the time the world's biggest captive car finance company that belonged to what was at the time the world's biggest vehicle manufacturer.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, they're from Germany. And I went. I was one of the people that set up their financial services arm in Ireland, and Ireland at the time had no such thing as credit scoring. So we had to figure it out ourselves based on the UK's credit scoring system. Very difficult, since in Ireland they
It's a
don't
much
have.
different system because you deal with a letter system like AA, AAA, you know what I'm saying, and so on and so forth. It's a much different type system. And people don't get it or understand it. They don't understand what happened when we had the last government shutdown, not this one, but the last one, which was also under Trump, that actually lowered us from a AAA to a AA credit rating as a country.
Yep.
And the damage that did.
Yep.
It's credit scoring is not a simple thing to do. It's incredibly complicated, especially when you're starting it up from the beginning. It's really complicated.
The whole reason we have weighted models. Those weighted models are built so people, to actually promote purchasing, right? Because if everybody used the same weighted model as a mortgage company, nobody would buy nothing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, sure. All right. Oh, what do you got, Todd?
I agree with that. So there is no documentation for pay for fine.
Oh, we can't hear you if you're off the app.
Sorry, I was trying to read that. There are no documented pay for fines, but there are performance metrics that go along with their job that had a fine component to it. And however that translates to future job opportunities, whatever it is on your government salary band, what I am suggesting, and I know from having talked to these people that they were incented to divvy out fines. And then there becomes a dual threat there. One, they can sit there and spend time with fines, or two, because they are young and they do not understand the industry of which they are regulating for the most part, they can also be easily corrupted, if you will, for somebody to sit down and say, hey, I'm going to teach you how this industry works.
But so what's sorry, I'm just going to interrupt you. What's your source?
I just had to go to Chat GPT. You guys are making me look like a rookie on.
We have now gone from sourced information to conspiracy theory.
Yeah, and I just want to. Did anyone else's brain shout incentivized at them?
Yes, it did.
Incentivize? There's a lot of ways to incentivize something.
No, you don't understand. What's your source?
Oh, hold on, it's got a. So I'll look it up.
Tell me you don't understand government pay rates without. You don't understand government pay rates.
Oh boy. But let's not save the American people, tens of billions of dollars in various, fees from credit card companies and banks and go after the people trying to rip us off.
Well, I think to your point earlier when the CFPB first came out under Obama, there was
No, Todd, you didn't understand. What's the source? I'm gonna if this gets I don't need to pee, but I might pee myself laughing if this happens again. Because I'm 46. My ability to control my bladder is not what it once was.
It's a website called Patomac, PATOMAK.
And they would be
Patomac
who?
Global Partner. Understanding CFPB funding and expenditures.
Okay, and that was the only source you could find to back this up.
I'm telling you, my source is actually having conversations with the regulators themselves.
Your source is what we like to call anecdotal.
Not anecdotal, like living through it. Like, how can you be?
That's called anecdotal.
That would actually be the meaning of that word.
Okay, anecdotal then. So my point is, when you get to a situation where you create a model that has no bias, or you're trying to not have any bias built into it by not taking anything into account other than pre-existing credit scores. Yes, models were in there, but then behavioral actions that they take within your suite of products. And you could sit down and you can show how there's no disparate impact. You can even show how there's not a disparate impact to any ethnicity or class, and you still get met with the answer, prove to us that there's not a more, oh my gosh, equitable way to do this. And if you can't, it's proving a negative. And we just sat there and we looked at him like, you've got to be kidding me right now.
Sorry
You
though.
want to-
Sorry. Wouldn't just logically, that idea that you're saying people should be able to take into account other information that they have from like consumer habits of that person, etc.
Yes.
That has a direct impact on smaller lenders, smaller providers who aren't able to access the
100%.
same. So it's
But that's
not
just a
only-
competitive advantage. That's not
So
that's
it's-
not equitable. I don't need to be equitable to my competition. I need to be equitable to the people who are applying with me.
But you're not being equitable to the people that
Of
are buying
course.
with you. No, you're
Of
not.
course we are. Of course.
Not when compared to other lenders, you're not. You're only being equitable within your own customer base.
I think that you're trying to make it right, but why would I be responsible for a smaller lender not having a better underwriting model? Like the whole
Well,
point
no,
in private
you're
capital is
misunderstanding.
to be able to make the better loans
You're-
and make more
I
capital
don't know whether you're
available.
deliberately misunderstanding, but the point isn't the point of credit scores that everybody has the same information and they use that same information to make their decisions. That's why credit scores were instituted in the first place. And what you're saying is we should be able to use all this extra information that we have collected as an institution to make a decision on whether we lend to someone, what rate we lend to them at. And that directly, it means it's not.
I think you
equi-
misunderstand why credit scores were created. They were
Shut
created
the
to allow
fuck
lenders up.
Right, no, absolutely not. I've already said it. You might not have been listening. I worked for 10 years of my life for the world's biggest vehicle finance company. I set up their financial arm in Ireland. I set up their financial arm in China. I have worked all over the world in finance. Don't you dare tell me that I don't know why credit scores were set up. Don't
You
even
established that you
think
didn't
about
have
it.
credit scores where you were at, and you had to come up with your own model. That's what you
Yes, in
established.
Ireland, yes. So it turns out me saying that shows you that I do understand why they were set up. What the fuck are you talking
Credit
about?
scores were an innovation done by private institutions.
Todd,
TransUnion, Equifax, Equifax Experience. Private.
No one fucking cares. The point here is that you gave us one example for all of this shit that you claimed about Joe Biden, and you couldn't even find a source to support the one fucking thing that you said. So, again, I think that you might be wrong. I think you might have to step back and admit that Joe Biden didn't do any far left anything. I think you might have to take the L on this one.
And anybody who listens to you say that knows that you're wrong.
Cool story, bro. Great job finding a single fucking source to back up anything you said.
No, we'll just call it an election.
What the fuck are you talking about?
The Democrats aren't in control for a reason.
Yeah,
because,
you're right.
Because the American public are nearly 50% of them are stupid.
Yep. And many of them, Todd, are apparently just as fucking stupid as you are. Either that or they're just hateful people. It's one or the other, generally.
I mean, do you even know
You're
who?
the only one establishing name calling here. So
Oh
go for it.
no! Oh no! Did I hurt your feelings, Todd? Once again,
Not at all.
you
Not at
couldn't.
all, bro.
Well, cool. Good job. Are you going to go
Not
find
at
a
all.
source for the thing that you
Still be
kept
hateful.
claiming over and over?
Still be
Oh,
hateful.
cool. Oh, wonderful. I'm
Still
so
your
glad.
members, man.
I'm
Just
so.
know it.
Hey, bud. I'm so glad because we've just been up here asking you for facts and information, and the only thing that you've done is sit here and go, "Well, this is how I feel. This is the thing that I know. This is blah blah blah," and we're just sitting here go fact, 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 and we can provide sources for all of the information
Fact,
that we
like
provide
credit
to you.
scores were
I'm in
created.
the middle of a fucking sentence. Thank you. If you would actually listen to what Erica said earlier, she was talking about how she worked all over the world setting up these financial systems, which is why she knows exactly what the fuck she's talking about in both the United States, because I know that she worked here, and in Europe. That's why she knows what she's talking about. That's where her context comes from. So you heard that little snippet of the other thing, but you didn't hear the other, I guess. That's fine. The point of this is you made a claim about Joe Biden, and the one claim that you made, the one thing that you could think of, you couldn't even back that up. You kind of suck at this.
I'm not here to do a job. This is how you get paid, not me.
No, it's not.
I'm here to,
No, it's
I'm
not.
Here to tell
No,
you,
it's no. Thanks, Todd. I own a business. Okay.
the behavior.
I don't give a fuck. I don't care what you think of me. Cool story, bro. I don't fucking care. Now, if you have something else political to discuss with us, that's great. But I gotta be honest with you. We're all very embarrassed for you. All 730 people in here are very tired of listening to you blab on about credit scores and, quite frankly, insult the rest of my panel and assume that they don't know what they're talking about when they are running circles around you. So, do you have something else political that you'd like to talk about or not?
Sure.
I just want to ask him one quick question. What's the term FICO mean?
Fair Isaac credit score.
Thank you. So understanding that, who created the credit score system?
Fair Isaacs.
They created the FICO system, sir. They actually did not create credit reporting or credit.
TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. TransUnion was one of the very first.
Actually, the
and
mercantile.
It was an innovation. Yeah,
agency.
TransUnion's in Chicago. Call it an offshoot, whatever. It was not established by the government to create equal borrowing to everybody. It was an innovation to allow lenders have a more accurate way to predict consumer behavior when they lended money.
Right, which is referred to as what?
A credit score. A behavior.
No, sir. What you just described is not a credit score.
Credit report, credit bureau, centralize as much information
That would
as
actually be creating a credit model.
fine. Thank you for the clarification on the terms there. Anyway, not created by the government to establish equal lending out there is an innovation to allow lenders to understand their clients better and to make better credit decisions. Now, it is used by government subsidized entities for mortgage transactions because we back all of those. So there is a reason that the government would say, hey, we want to have equitable lending in government assets. And there's a benefit to all Americans to make sure that they do have access to credit, but that's not why the credit score was created. It was created as an innovation to allow lenders to have a better shot of making better loans. It would get repaid better. Period. Call me stupid, call me whatever you want. Claim any knowledge that you think you have, but that's the actual facts of why it was created and why it exists.
I'm not going to argue that's why FICO was created. That's exactly why FICO was created. But FICO was a credit model. By the way, the same credit model.
Yeah, on the political side. On the political side. The only thing that I started this thing off on was political, not financial. And it doesn't matter what side you are on. There are unusual behaviors, very much like the video you showed earlier, the audio, where you have somebody saying, if the government shuts down, the president should be the one to bring them back together. Fair point. He said that. He should be held accountable for it. We got a whole army of Senate Democrats who have stood for decades saying that we should not hold the government hostage for a political desire. If you want to see policy
Not a
done, you need to
political desire,
negotiate.
sir.
And that's
See,
happening
that's
right now.
that's the problem right
So
there. It's not a
I
political
think
desire.
money's pouring in to cause them to do something
It
different.
is
I don't think
not
it's normal.
a political desire. Okay, when you talk about
Law was passed.
sir, when do
Don't want
you
to
sign
believe
up
they
at
don't
your
want to follow
company?
through the
At your
democratic
company,
process
when
for
do
that
you
law.
sign up for insurance? At your company, when do you sign up for
Just
insurance?
insurance, this would be over with.
No, sir, no. When do you sign up for insurance at your company?
When do I provide
Right.
insurance to my employees now?
Right. When do they sign up?
Immediately upon employment.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Sir, what happens every November?
Oh, you're talking annual renewals? Yes, I understand
open enrollment.
what's going to happen from a pricing perspective, but keeping the government shut is not going to change that any faster either.
No, sir. Losing
that were the
losing
only
that
deal-
capital, losing those substances at insurance agencies by every economist out there is going to raise the cost of insurance anywhere from 50 to 70%. That is the problem. You combine that with pulling almost 17,000 people off of insurance. You're talking about a true disaster. That is what the Democrats do not want to see. If the CO would have maintained the same, if the CO would have maintained the same, they would have moved everything out till March. Instead, they want to try to close that one loophole to do away with the ACA, to defund the ACA, which provides billions to insurance companies for subsidies. Without those subsidies, our insurance goes up. It's that simple. That is what the Democrats are fighting for. If you don't like it, I'm sorry, but that is what they're fighting for.
Let me ask you a question. In all honesty, do you think that when the Democrats engaged in this, spending bill, and they put a sweeping line of different, basically a rollback of 7 different aspects of the big beautiful law, because it's law now. And do you think it was just focused on that healthcare concept? Because I will give you that we should work together to try to keep healthcare prices from going
We
up
are
for
not
Americans.
talking about the big, beautiful bill.
First of all, it's a law. The democratic process has happened, it's been made law. And now what we're trying to do,
We'll see how long that lasts. We'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah, and
But
so just let the government go down, let everybody's insurance go up.
We are not talking about that. We are talking about a CR.
A clean continuing resolution that sticks with exactly what we have.
No, sir. If it stuck with exactly what we have, everything would be moved out, including the ACA funding, until March.
I think that anybody, wherever, see, the 90-day thing to me seems like a missed opportunity for Democrats because they've yelled about the insurance at this point. I think everybody's paying attention. You say, okay, we're going to do it in good faith. We're going to come back. We're going to make sure everybody gets paid and the government employees get paid, and we're going to negotiate this out. And at the end of 90 days, if that shit isn't done, then we are shutting down the government. I think it's a missed opportunity for Democrats right now. But that's my position. And I'm suggesting is the position that Democrats are making right now is separate from how they've done it for the last 10 years.
You came up with a talking point 10 seconds ago saying a clean CR. It is anything but clean.
It's the new law. A clean CR according to the democratic process for what's been passed, right? Like, we're not changing anything. We're going to extend it by 90 days. Nothing, no additional stuff's being put on.
And if you did that, sir, if you extended it, it's actually 6 months. If you did that,
that was 90 days.
No, it was actually 6 months. The last one was in March. We're now in, you know what I'm saying? We're now in October. It ended October 1st, right? Okay. This would run it out from October to March. Okay. That is the reality of what
I'm saying. The one that the Republicans have been proposing 13 times.
Sir, hold on. Go ahead.
Can I just ask you a super quick question?
Mm-hmm.
Did this just suddenly hop out of the woodwork on the day where they were supposed to pass it? Or have the Democrats been talking about the fact that the ACA would lapse for some time and saying we need to do something about the ACA lapsing?
Yes, they have. And their response from the administration has been, from his first term to his second term, is that he was going to replace the ACA with something better. Okay? And we heard he's going to replace it with something better every 2 weeks. I mean, it was Popeye. I mean, it was Wimpy. Do you know who Wimpy is? I'll pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today.
I remember the cartoon.
Okay, so we heard that for 4 years. And then when he was running for president in 2024 and was asked that very same question about the ACA and replacing it with something better, what was his answer?
Something about a plan of a plan.
I've got concepts of a plan. And I should, hold on, and he followed that up. We should know more in 2 weeks. So now we've got Wimpy going all over again. Okay? I don't have an issue if Donald Trump comes up with a health care plan that would actually help American citizens and then actually do away with the ACA. That I would not have a problem with. What I do have a problem with is trying to backdoor a way to get rid of the ACA with no plan to replace it and raising the cost of insurance, medical insurance, for everybody that's on it. That's a big problem.
I think what you're saying is a responsible position. There's not much about what you just said there that I disagree with. What I am not sure about is shutting down the government, not achieving the goal in the meantime, and missing what I again. And I don't espouse to speak for the Democratic Party, but like missing an opportunity to highlight appropriately what the now one specific thing is that I think most people can agree with. And I'm going to give the guy a nod at one degree here. Trump did say we sat down, they have some really good points on this, and we're willing to work on it with them. Now, you may not believe him, you whatever, but if you go 90 days, you turn the spigot back on for all the people who need to get paid, and you have literally a short window where the Democrats can put a huge spotlight and say, okay, this did not happen. We have to do what we have to do. We're shutting the government back
Todd, if you say, oh, you may not believe him. Hey, Nemo, I got a question for you. Just out of curiosity, when was the last time that the House of Representatives was in town to be in session?
I believe Johnson is September. I believe Johnson's doesn't have there, but
it was September, wasn't it? It was the end of September.
It was actually, they shut down October 1st.
Oh, October 1st. Thank you. Okay, yeah. So that's weird because I mean, who does Mike Johnson answer to, Todd?
I mean, I think you're going to suggest he answers to the president.
I mean,
that's
do you
not
think
actually
that
how it's supposed to work.
Sure, right. Except for the fact that we all know that Mike Johnson is Donald Trump's little bitch, and he'll do whatever Donald Trump wants. And if we're looking at the situation, what you just said is it's just demonstrably false. If they wanted to negotiate, we don't even have the House of Representatives here. If they wanted to negotiate, if something changes, Nemo, what would have to happen then? If something changes, would we need the House of Representatives back in session to be able to make changes on that bill on the other side?
Yeah.
So the House passed a continuing resolution and sent it up to the Senate, right?
Yes.
Okay. So under that, yes, if the government is turned back, then you sit down and negotiate. Now you got your spotlight. If it's false, if they are playing under false pretense, then you've got the most justified purpose in the world, as far as I could see, from saying, hey, we're not moving forward until these subsidies are addressed. In an absence of, a real plan to replace the ACA, like my friend here said, then the subsidies need to continue. And if it is But that is not so far been what the entire proposal is from the Democratic Party. But but let's say that that part is right and that is justified. Like, I'm not 100% sure what anybody would accept from the Democratic Senate side from a spending perspective at this point in time. Like, it's so just scorched earth everything. Like, do exactly hold the government hostage until you get what?
Todd, I'm going to ask you a real question, and I just want a real answer, okay? If I was going to do a continuing resolution, okay, and we all know this continuing resolution came from March, right? Correct?
There's been law passed since March.
No. This has nothing. The continuing resolution is about funding the government. It's about funding the big beautiful bill, right?
Yes, but
okay. Now hold on a second.
Today
So take the
current
big
law in
beautiful
place.
bill out of it, because this really doesn't have anything to do with the big beautiful bill.
Well,
Okay.
it does, because the big beautiful bill is law now.
No, it does not.
It is law.
The continuing resolution was based in March. Okay.
That was the
fund
last-
the government, to fund the employees, the people, everybody that works for the government, the military, all, you know what I'm saying, all this stuff. That's what the continuing resolution is for. Okay. Basically to add to our debt, if you actually understand what it really is. Okay. Now, if this was a clean bill, and from March, like they keep stating, what you're not getting is that funding for the ACA would continue until March again. But that's not the case. Everything else is going to continue till March. But the funding for the ACA, that is the issue. That is what makes the bill not clean, and that is what gave the Democrats the capability to use the filibuster.
Not only is that correct, Val, but our good friend Thick sent me this video, and we've been saying that the Republicans have been trying to force the shutdown, Todd, and here's J.D. Vance saying exactly that just this past year.
Why shouldn't we be trying to force this government shutdown fight to get something out of it that's good for the American people? Like, why have a government if it's not a functioning government?
So they want this because if they didn't want this, then they could have just ended it.
I honestly have never seen that clip before, but when it is that 30 seconds, he could have been referencing his opponent's point of view in that situation. That's just too small of a clip for me to just buy into outright. But
Todd, if we find the full clip and he is not referencing his opponent's point of view, he is in fact referencing his own point of view, does that change your mind at all?
I do not think it's appropriate to shut down the government.
Okay, so it's not going to change your mind. So the point is, dude, that you try to hypocrisy shame the Democrats, like you're saying that, oh well, this party's run on saying that shutting down the government's bad for 10 years, and now they changed their mind. Okay, yeah, like, okay, so. But you want to label the Democrats as hypocrites? I don't give a shit.
I mean,
like the Republicans have successfully used shutdowns to get shit out of the Democrats, because the Republicans have been the ones that have initiated shutdowns, right? So they played chicken with the debt ceiling to the point that, to tie in the credit rating thing again, we are not seen as a nice, stable, trustworthy source for any type of credit agencies. We've lost our awesome super duper ranking with all of them because of that, because of Republican-led shutdowns and Republican-led chicken sessions with the debt ceiling. And those have been done to advance conservative agendas, right? To excise or to extract certain compromises out of the Democrats in any number of bills, which the Democrats being the fucking Democrats, of course they gave them. And I mean, like, Chuck Schumer did the CR or whatever in March. And I mean, the whole idea was, well, we'll have 6 months to iron this out. Well, for 6 months there was a whole lot of shit that was happening, and I mean, even though the Democrats are sitting here banging the drum on, hey, these things are going to expire, people don't pay attention to it. Why? Because there's other shit going on and everything's running. And because everything's running, it's easy to get caught up in other stuff. So now that the government's shut down, there's a spotlight on it. You're saying, well, what they can do is open it back up and then get the Republicans to pinky swear promise. Dude, the Republicans are shameless. They don't give a fuck. They do not give a fuck. They've, like, this is the thing. This is what I've criticized Bernie for. And I'm a big Bernie simp. Like, I'm a super simp for Bernie. And I've criticized him on this shit, which is that doing this, like, hypocrisy shaming bullshit, which is, well, Donald Trump, he said that he wanted to work and audit the Pentagon. So let's get in there. You know, I'll work with him if he says so. That sounds good to me. And you know, if it turns out that, hey, he wasn't about it, then the American people will see that. I mean, it was pretty obvious that he wasn't about that. Didn't matter that he said he wanted to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse, because we blew up our DOD budget to insane proportions. Didn't matter. It did not matter. It doesn't matter. And Bernie just, like, unilaterally disarmed and just said, hey, fine, let's work with the devil. Because if it turns out that he's the devil, well, the American people will be like, oh, he's the devil? Oh my God. Wow. No, it's stupid. So the Republicans have done this. This has been their thing. They have done shutdowns and debt ceiling fights. Cool. I mean, clearly it works for them. So, like, if the best that you have is, well, the Democrats have said this is bad and now they're doing it. I mean, I wish they would have done it sooner, because holy shit, the way that this is such a one-sided dynamic, where the Republicans are allowed to sit in the middle of the floor and shit themselves, throw it at everyone else around them, and then point to the Democrats and demand that they clean it up. And then everybody else looks at the Democrats and says, why did you let them shit in the floor? Why aren't you cleaning it up? You have to clean it up now. And then they clean it up and they say, well, you got to promise to not shit in the floor again. Okay. And then they do it again. And then the American people blame the Democrats again because they go along with the Republicans again. This is like a cycle every single time since I've been alive. Since Bill Clinton has come into office, from 93 onwards, Democrats have cleaned up the mess of Republican administrations. And then the Republican comes in just to deregulate and fuck it up again. And yet, for some reason, the American people still think that the Republicans are the fiscally responsible ones. Bullshit. Right. The Republicans are the ones that claim fiscal responsibility really, really loud and shamelessly lie and just don't even give a fuck when they're fact-checked. Like, oh, whatever, nope, that's made up. Nope, we're the fiscally conservative, responsible ones. Blah, 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 blah. And then they cut taxes and they run up massive deficits, which only add to our debt. And the second they're out of power, what do? They obstruct and they bitch about the debt. The debt that they ran up. The debt that didn't matter when they were in power. Now it suddenly matters. Didn't matter that Joe Biden spent half of what Donald Trump did in the same amount of time. Didn't matter. Didn't fucking matter. Nope. Joe Biden sucks. Joe Biden sucks. He's horrible. Oh my God, all this spending, all this blah, 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 all this stupid bullshit. And we got to grade Donald Trump on a curve because something pandemic. As if Joe Biden didn't inherit the same goddamn pandemic, as if it was a completely separate thing, that a separate incident the moment that he walked into the office 30 seconds after Donald Trump's fat ass moved out of that office. No, this like trying to pretend that these two things are equivalent, that we have to take the Republicans seriously when it's obvious they don't want to govern. They don't want to have any type of functional government. They want power. They want to rule. They don't want to govern. They want to rule. And that's not the same thing. They have passed one fucking piece of legislation this session. One. They're not doing their fucking job when the government's open. You yourself brought up that they are, hey, this is why you guys lost. And the American people gave the Republicans control. Cool. What has that got us? One piece of legislation that's dog shit passed, and then the government is shut down. The Democrats aren't in charge. The Republicans are in charge. Go lay your bitching at their feet. And don't tell us that, oh, well, the Democrats that what they need to do is get them to pinky swear promise that they'll really put a spotlight on this issue for the next 90 days going into the holiday season, at which point the Senate will, of course, for the 5 days that they will actually be in session, won't give a solitary fuck. And the American people have things to worry about and will get distracted if the spigot turns back on. But for the moment, there is one singular thing in focus. You're telling me that, hey, well, if you make a pinky swear promise, then you're allowed to shut it down. What is the difference between shutting it down 90 days from now, because we know the Republicans aren't going to deliver, and keeping it shut down right now until the motherfuckers cave?
So Nemo, there's so many things you covered right there. First, the last time I know that the government actually shrunk in size from a spending perspective is when you had a mixed government with the Tea Party was forcing the actual expenditures to go down. I think that's the last time that that government actually spent less one year over the other.
Sir, when did the Tea Party come out?
Under Clinton.
The Tea Party actually came out under Bush. Tea Party came out under George W. Bush, sir.
But they actually had their impact.
The only president to actually lower government and actually shrink the
You're
size
saying
of
president,
government
but
was actually Clinton. He was the only president to leave with a balanced budget and actually a surplus.
There's only one year in the last 20 years that the government has actually spent less than the last. And there's a difference between a deficit and spending less, right? You could cut taxes, spend less, and still have a deficit. Right. So, but that's just one.
Todd,
No, there's four things. Nemo went on for like 5 minutes.
Can we quit with the mansplaining? You're not talking to people who don't know anything here. Like,
Okay,
you
good.
don't need to do that.
All right. So then but there are a couple points I'd like to touch on. The difference between spending money during the COVID pandemic, it all being the same. I would just use the analogy if you're saving up to buy something in your household, and all of a sudden you have one of your house burns down. You don't stay on the same plan. You go back you retract from your spending, and you don't continue to spend. We passed our first $1 trillion bill.
Stop right there. Stop right
No.
there.
We spent We spent our first $1 trillion bill under
Stop
Trump.
right there.
We passed two more.
No. We're gonna address that one. Okay. First off, sir, what was Donald Trump's first bill? What was his really only bill in his first term of office?
I'm telling you, he spent $1 trillion on it. Yes, I
that's
get
not
you.
what-
It was
what I
our
asked
first
you.
team.
That's not what I asked you. What was his only real piece of legislation in his first term?
I can't remember the name of it.
It was called Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. That was his religion. Now, what did the TCJA cost us?
What did it cost us?
$2 trillion.
In what? In taxpayer
Well,
money
actually, it
going
was
in?
closer to. It was actually, guys, closer to
So
4
we
trillion.
paid $2 trillion less taxes?
Yeah.
So you're saying
Yeah.
we paid $2 trillion less taxes?
No, it actually cost us almost $4 trillion. That bill.
When you say cost us, what do you mean?
The bill, the TCJA,
Yeah.
okay, cost the American people almost $4 trillion in
Like we
taxes.
had to pay 4 trillion more?
Yes, sir. It
No, we
added
paid 4
4
trillion
yes, sir.
less.
It added $4 trillion to the debt.
When you tack on all the spending that we had to do around COVID, it did.
No, sir.
No,
The
this is
COVID was
before,
over and
dude.
above.
If you
So think about how this, to do the household budget analogy, that does not work for so many fucking reasons, but fine. Let's just do the household budget analogy. If you're bringing in $2,000 a month in income and your budget magically is equal to that number, cool. If somehow the next month you are only bringing in $1,000 of income, but your budget remains the same or increases to, let's say, $2,500. That's what we're talking about. There were tax
You're right. We should have
cuts.
cut our spending.
Okay, cool. The Republicans had absolute power in 2017, just like they have absolute power right now. What happened? Exactly what I fucking said. Exactly what I said a few minutes ago. Exactly what I said. The motherfuckers came in, they cut taxes, blew up the deficit, added to the debt, and did not at all adjust spending to actually cover the cuts that they made. So
And
they
that's correct.
fucked
And
it up again.
Right, and that's correct, and that's absolutely correct. Not only that, sir, what did we get out of the TCJA from 20? It was passed in late 2017, came into effect in 2018, ran all the way through 2019 before C-19. What did we get from the TCJA?
An
What did the
increased
American
GDP,
people
a
get?
growing economy, the highest,
Actually, the economy
the lowest
shrunk.
unemployment.
Actually,
Like,
the economy
I-
shrunk.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about that real quick. 'cause
Okay, go right
I'm
ahead.
a big fan of.
I think you
talking
know where
about
I'm
this.
going with this.
I do, Val, because I really enjoy talking about this, because, you know, when you talk about these things, Todd, you know, economic things. When we talk about economic time lag with major economic policy, you know that roughly a bill like this is going to take about 1.5 to 2 years to filter through an economy as large as the United States, right?
Yep.
Cool.
I agree.
Awesome. Now, I could have gone all the way back to the beginning of Obama's term, but around about 2011, GDP growth remained constant in America. If you can look, it's all the way on the left-hand side of the chart. And it goes and goes and goes. Magical times, right? Wonderful times. Here's the start of 2017. And we'll keep going. And then there's a weird thing that happens here. Q4 of 2019, we see our first drop in GDP in 72 months. So weird. So weird. And by the way, this is Fred. This is the Federal Reserve website, so you know these numbers are completely accurate. This is where we see our very first drop in GDP after 72 months of uninterrupted growth that coincides directly with just over 1.5 years after the TCJA was passed. Now, we don't really know what was going to happen after that for sure, because of C-19 happening directly after that. But if you go back and you read what economists were saying at the time, they said, get ready for a recession. All of that got forgotten because of what happened in January of 2020. But Q4 of 2019 was the first contraction that we saw in terms of GDP in 72 months, Todd.
And the reason for what he's pulled up there, and there's one other factor you need to pull up there. If you pull up, Fred, you pull up the employment numbers from the same time period. Okay? This was called the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, was it not?
Yep.
The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act did it. Now we talked about 3 years, 2017 to 2019, correct? We're taking 2020 out of the mix.
Okay.
So 2017 to 2019. Did he create more jobs in that time period than were created from 2014 to 2017?
I'm looking at the screen. I'm not following the years, but can't tell.
He created 8,000 less jobs a month than Obama did in his final 3 years. 8,000 less per month from 2017 to 2019.
So still good job growth.
8,000 less? We passed an act that cost $4 trillion and created 8,000 less jobs per month.
You know how
Where
I
were the
said
jobs created? No, where were the jobs created? I mean, again, you're looking at data apparently that I don't have access to right now. But if you look at like
You can
Biden's
actually pull up a
situation,
site. You can actually pull up a site called Obama's last 3 years of job growth versus Trump's first 3 years, and it'll actually give you the exact number breakdowns.
so I mean, were they fewer government jobs created? I mean,
No,
if you look
fewer
at
jobs total. It's called non-farm jobs.
yeah, but in like Biden's last year of his
Oh,
administration,
Biden smoked.
20%. Yeah,
No,
but
don't even go there.
20% of them were government
No, hold
jobs.
on. No. Biden smoked Trump in job creation. That's not even a fair comparison.
And
I'm talking
we're
about
not
like
talking, but I don't know why you brought Biden into this, Todd, because we were
I'm just
talking
saying I
about,
don't know what the
no,
mix of
but we were
jobs is.
talking about Obama. We weren't
Yeah, but I don't know what
talking about
my point
Biden.
is the reason I brought up Biden is to suggest I don't know where all those jobs are coming from. If you're growing the government, if you're shrinking the government at the same time that you're growing private jobs, then you're not going to have a net total job growth as much. If you are growing private jobs and growing government, you're going to have a bigger number, but that's going to increase overall spending in the government as
He
well.
did not. Donald J. Trump did not grow more government jobs in his first 3 years.
That's why
in
I'm
office.
saying it.
Okay,
that's my point.
But his first three, but neither did Obama in his last 3 years.
That's what I was asking.
Neither did
Neither
did Obama. This ain't about government jobs.
It can be
This
a big
is about
part.
the jobs market.
20%.
The jobs market entirely grew faster without giving billionaires and corporations a tax cut that they used to do stock buybacks. They absolutely used to manipulate the market.
Which, by the way, I would totally be down with some legislation around what large corporations can do in terms of stock buybacks. Like I would have a hard time doing that in my own business. Like,
But
totally
you're
with you on
letting
that.
him do it again.
He's just extending, as far as I understand.
No, sir. The big
So
beautiful
Biden's
bill,
entire
big
tax.
beautiful bill didn't extend that. It blew it the hell up.
Well, let's look at, should we not, by your theory though, right, with the tax
Not a
basis?
theory.
No, but by your consideration, was Biden's entire administration on the same tax plan that Trump passed? So all those job gains.
I'll answer that question for you
allocated
because
to
this
that
one will
too.
surprise you. No, the Biden era actually made changes to those tax codes to actually raise tax on corporations. Do you understand what oh darn it, why can't I think of the name of it? Do you understand what an effective tax rate is?
If we're talking about corporate taxes, income taxes,
It doesn't matter what
or
tax
what?
you have, an effective tax rate. you have
Total
an actual
rate.
tax rate. Okay, the actual tax rate under the bill for the TCJA was 21%, correct, for corporations.
Sounds right.
Okay, the effective tax rate is what the government actually receives after giveaways and everything like that. That's the effective tax rate. Okay, the effective tax rate under the Trump administration after the TCJA was 8.8%. That is actually what was received by corporations. Okay, into the
Because of his reinvestment, yeah.
Okay, because that from the federal government. The Biden administration changed those rules and raised on corporations some taxes that they were able to do through legislation, and actually got the effective tax rate up to 12.4%.
Yeah, you're talking about the impact and capital project write-off, like bonus depreciation, right?
No, it was the effect. It was what the government actually
Yeah, but that's the
received from
effect of it. Like
corporations.
if
That's the
corporations
effective tax
invest,
rate.
yeah. But under Trump, he gave it bonus depreciation, and he's doing that again with the big beautiful law. And he's
Which
saying,
is
hey,
going
if
to
you can
lower
write
our
it all off.
effective tax rates, which is
Yes,
going
but
to
it will.
lower. No, hold on,
It
sir.
will increase investment.
No, it won't, sir. Oh, yeah, hold
You
on.
don't get the
It will
write-off if you
increase
don't do the investment.
It will increase investment in the form of stock buybacks.
Now that's the part that part needs to be. If that is what comes of this, then I agree with you.
What makes you think that history is
You
not
can't
going
write
to
off a
repeat
capital
itself?
expenditure.
Sir, what you just described is the absolute definition of insanity.
No.
Okay? It is, sir. We're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to do the exact same thing and expect a different outcome. That is the definition of insanity.
This is bonus depreciation are not for stock buybacks in the big beautiful law. That's not what they're for. It's for infrastructure development.
Oh my. Oh,
I think
Hey,
I
wait,
can
hang on,
source
Todd.
that.
Todd,
let me
hang
do
on.
the teacup
Todd,
thing.
no, hold on. Just real quick though. No, Todd, don't go. I have ice to sell you in Alaska. I have ice to sell for you. Ice to sell you. I have ice to sell you up in Alaska.
Do my teacupping thing here on the bonus depreciation for 1 year, because that is part of this, and it is intended to get everybody to invest heavily, and they will get a 1 year 100% in year one break on not paying taxes on that money. It's a complete write-off. So that would affect it. That would hit
what is going to go up because of that?
What, inflation?
No, the deficit.
The debt. Both, actually, the deficit and the debt.
Actually, yeah. The deficit first, and then
Because it'll reduce tax income, right?
Correct.
And should we cut government spending at all?
Hold on. Let's talk about that, because now we can bring Biden back into the picture. Okay. How much was the Infrastructure Act?
The IRA or which one? There were $2 trillion bills in.
It wasn't $1 trillion bill. The infrastructure bill was $450 billion.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the IRA.
Okay, that's the Infrastructure Act. Okay, the Infrastructure Act. But how much did the Infrastructure Act bring in private funding?
Tell me.
Almost $1 trillion in private funding into the infrastructure bill. If you want to know how Joe Biden didn't create as much debt and actually lowered the deficit, it's because he put bills together like that promoted private funding.
So we see a similar amount of private funding coming in, or greater amount of private funding coming in under the current administration, I would assume?
None.
So is that because you think they just hasn't hit yet, or these tariff negotiations with these nations are not going to happen?
A tax cut and a Jobs Act, and the same thing the big beautiful bill is. A tax cut and the promise of jobs does not promote private investment.
No, what I'm suggesting on the private investment side is all the negotiations have been taking place with different corporations and different nations.
Different nations. Let's talk about that one. You're talking about tariffs?
Yeah, 100%.
So you do understand that tariffs are a tax to the American people?
I would say that they're certainly a cost, certainly a tax, and I think they'll probably end up about a third to
And
the
how much has
consumer,
been
a
and how
third
much
to the
has been
exporter, and a third to the producer.
hold on. How much of that how
A
much of that
consumption
has how
tax
much of that is the
versus an
customer?
income tax.
How much of that has the federal government collected?
So far, I think about 170 billion since March.
Actually, I think the figures are now up to 300 billion.
Well, that's good.
Okay, so no, that's good. Okay, so when the internet or so when
It's
the
got the
international so hold on, sir. When the International Trade Court said that his tariffs are illegal, and his attorney was asked, how would he propose to pay that back? Do you know what his attorney's answer was?
I have not heard his attorney, but I agree. If the Supreme Court were to not to suggest that they were illegal, we would be fucked, and he should be held accountable for it.
Right. Well, they were determined illegal by the International Trade Court,
Hey, who
which is a
cares? It's gotta
jury.
go to the
Hold
Supreme
on,
Court.
which is
Doesn't
a
matter what they say.
3-panel judge, 2 of them appointed by Trump. Okay, three panel judge. That's all they do is international trade. So
I hear you.
So
but
hold
who
on, sir. I
cares
want to
until
finish
it gets
that.
to the Supreme Court.
This is what his attorney answers was, because his attorney was then asked, how would you pay back the American people? And the answer from his attorney were these words: if we were to put that money back into the economy to the American people, it would crash the economy. Now I'm going to ask you a very simple question. Has a stimulus to the American people ever crashed the economy?
Paying it back, you mean? If they had to pay back the taxes, you're comparing that to a stimulus?
It would work the same way, right? It would be a check from the government back into the American people, correct?
No, it'd go back to the individuals initially paid the tariff.
Sir, that's every person in this country that bought an item.
Literally.
So what you're talking about is an inflationary impact to a product that could come from tariffs being placed.
No, it
where
has
the
nothing to
tariff,
do
where the
with the
tariff
sir,
is
take the
actually being
products out of it.
charged. No, where the tariff is being charged is on the importation of it. Like that's where the tariff is being charged.
The importer pays it, and then they pass that cost along.
I understand what you're saying. That either does or does not happen based off of whoever
Sir,
the actual retailer is
Sir,
and their
it's going to
strategy.
happen, sir. See, this is another
It's going
misnomer.
to happen. It
This
happens.
is
It doesn't
another
happen.
misnomer and a Republican argument that makes absolutely zero sense.
I'm just saying.
Because
there's a bill.
economically, hold on, sir, because economically, businesses are not in business to lose money.
I
Okay?
agree with you.
And keep in mind that a lot of the goods that we get from China, like TVs, and then let's get down to clothes, because that's where it gets really good. Okay? But let's talk about TVs. The average profit margin on a TV by an American corporation or company that ends up selling that TV in the end is usually about 5 to 6%. Did you know that?
Say it again.
The average profit margin on a TV is usually between 5 and 10% by the time it goes to the consumer.
Okay.
Okay, with that kind of profit margin, if you're getting hit with a 50 or 60 or 70% or 100% tariff, that is going to end up in the consumer's lap. To the
Or the
point that
consumer's not going to
GM
buy that product.
to the point that GM and Ford both said that if he continued down this lines, the price of their vehicles would go up by over 10 grand on average.
Dude, I am not suggesting that there is not an impact ultimately to the consumer
So
with
that's what
tariffs,
the
but it's not
international
dollar for
court was
dollar.
asking him.
It's
That's what the
certainly
international court was asking him, sir.
that's not the illegal part of what they're
No,
talking
the
about.
illegal part is that he did this without congressional approval.
Yeah, that's okay. We can agree with that, and that will be ultimately decided at the Supreme Court. But the bill for that 100% tariff or that 30% tariff is paid to the importer of that product. That's who's actually paying that. Now, the retailer on it who decides to sell that, if they decide to mark it up to the consumer, that's there lies the decision that the consumer has. It's a consumption tax at that point. Do they want to pay that for that specific product, or do they want to try to find an alternative? Right. And so there won't be a stimulus to the people if they had to pay it back. And I agree with you, it would crush our deficit. It would crush a lot of things. I'm hopeful that the Supreme Court doesn't go
I'm
there.
going to break this down in mathematical terms for you. If a t-shirt cost $8 coming from China and they put a 20% tariff on that t-shirt that the importer has to pay, what did that importer now pay for that t-shirt?
Well, they sold it for $9.60.
No, don't jump ahead. What did that importer pay for that t-shirt after he had to pay a 20% tariff?
$9.60.
Okay. $8, 20%. Yeah, you're correct. Okay, so $9.60. Now the importer is going to sell it to the distributor, okay, or to whoever's selling it out.
Some retailer.
Say the retailer. Okay.
Yeah.
What are they going to sell that shirt for? If they were making $2 profit on it before, what are they going to sell that shirt for now?
Well, it depends on what the importer. They're probably going to take a little bit of that tariff. The retailer's probably going to take a little bit of that tariff, and then they're going to probably at some point.
No, sir. Corporations aren't in
it's
the.
It's going to end up being a third, a third. That's
stop.
I'm just
Nope.
that's where it's at.
See that's y'all's wish and dream.
It's not a wish.
Again, yes, it is. It's an
There's plenty of products you
wish
don't
and
see a
dream.
markup yet.
Hold on, sir. It's to the point that Walmart said they can't do it anymore. So, sir, this is the thing. They're going to sell that shirt because they made a $2 profit before. They're still going to make a $2 profit because companies and people that back those companies and investors in those companies expect a $2 profit. Okay? They do not expect losses. They expect gains. Okay? That is the way corporations work and have always worked. Okay? So that's going to go for another $2 to the.
You're missing
retailer.
one part of
So
the
that's going to
equation.
hold on, sir.
Competition.
That's going to raise another $2 to the retailer. The retailer probably only made about $1 or $2 on that shirt. Okay, so they're going to raise that price yet again another $1, which comes to the American people.
Dude, I understand.
Now
your
the
argument.
American people are paying $1 to $2 more for that shirt, which is exactly what the import cost was. In the end result, corporations will not do what you think you want them to do. That is an absolute falsehood. They are responsible in fiduciary, so you understand that. They have a fiduciary to their investors for that responsibility.
Are there any scenarios that would throw a wrench into what you just said? Are there any other alternatives out there that would? I'm just saying that I understand your argument. I understand where you're coming from. The basis of your argument is that is the only place that we can get these products. For your argument to be 100% accurate, there can be no alternatives to getting these products from anywhere else.
If you're trying to say to bring the
I agree with you.
manufacturing
We're not going to win on like.
Hold on.
like
Now get where you're
clothes.
headed. If you're trying to say to bring the manufacturing to the United States, here's your problem. We cannot compete with countries that represent almost 2 billion people.
I don't
We
think
can't
it's the number of
compete with
people
that.
that matters. I don't think it's
Oh,
the number
yes,
of
it is,
people
sir,
that
because
matters.
when
We
you
are the
have
market.
a country that has that much labor force, you can do labor much cheaper.
Yes, yeah, cheap
Okay?
labor,
Yeah.
So we can't compete with that. The reason this argument falls on deaf ears with economists is because they know the American public in manufacturing of things like T-shirts or TVs cannot compete with that.
There are
Sir, the
certainly
study was actually done back the study was actually done back in the 1990s on TVs when it started all moving over, when the last American company, Zenith, that made TVs went out of business. Okay? When Zenith went out of business, it was put together and projected what it would cost to actually build a TV in the United States based on a TV that came from China, Taiwan, Japan, South Korea, or Vietnam. So all these were all put together. they did the cost analysis of what it would take to actually build a TV here. Now, back then, TVs were a little bit more expensive, okay? So if you take $1,000 TV, back then, this is back in the 90s, $1,000 TV would cost $10,000 if it was built in the U.S.
I understand your
Todd.
argument, and I would agree with you that there are certain products like clothing
Todd.
that regardless we're not going to win in.
Todd.
Chips, different
Todd.
story.
Todd.
Go ahead.
We're gonna win in. We might be able to win a bit in chips because of Joe Biden, but because of the fact that we're going to be dealing with the rare earth minerals issue, no. We're still dealing with a lot of issues because of China. But I just want to go back real quick. There's a reason why, like, there were no economists, and when I say no economists, there are zero economists that signed on with this when Donald Trump said what he was doing in terms of tariffing China, and that's because they saw that there was no way out of this. You keep saying, well, is it, well, what, maybe there's an alternative that we don't know, or something that you're not thinking about, or maybe it's this. No, it's because the top economists in the world all agree that this was a terrible plan. I mean, do you know where this plan came from and who came up with this plan?
I mean, Trump's been talking about tariffs for the last 20 years.
No, he really hasn't, because this particular plan came from a person named Peter Navarro. There's this specific plan, this China plan, thing. Okay, the guy named Peter Navarro. Peter Navarro wrote a book in 2011. It was called Death to China. That's the name of the book. And in 2018, Donald Trump went to his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and he said, I need somebody to help me take on China, and I want to figure out a way to do it. And Jared Kushner literally went on Amazon and found somebody, an economist, or somebody he thought was an economist. Peter Navarro wasn't actually an economist. He was an author who had done some economic stuff, but he found him, and he'd written this book. And in the book, he described this very plan. And the plan was co-signed by an economist named Ron Vara. Okay? Because obviously when you're going to write an economics book, you need an expert economist to say, like, hey, all of this economic theory is sound and is going to work, right?
Sure.
Cool. So Trump hires him, works a little bit in the first term. Of course, we know what happened, like with the soybean farmers. That didn't work out. Steel didn't really work out. Was not so great. And now we're seeing this shit happen. And again, economists are like, this isn't really, really good. You know that one expert economist who said that this was a good plan and it would work, and co-signed on all of Peter Navarro's ideas, Donald Trump's chief economist? Yeah, Ron Vara is an anagram for Navarro. And it was found out that he was somebody that Peter Navarro made up because no economist would co-sign on his plan. Once they read his book, they were like, we will not say that this is a good idea. He could not find someone, so he had to invent a person to do that. And he called them Ron Vara. He made an anagram of his last name. This has been verified. This isn't like some conspiracy theory thing. You can go look this up when we're off the live. Go Google it yourself. Ron Vara, Peter Navarro. He literally made up an economist because no one would say that this was a good idea. That's how we know. That's how Val and Nemo and I know that there's not some like way out of this or a good outcome. It's because no one thinks that there is. The experts all agree. It's not a good outcome coming.
All right, let me play devil's advocate. But by the way, fascinating. Hadn't heard that. I know about Navarro. I certainly don't know about his anagram, or don't know about his anagram. Fascinating. I definitely will go read up on that and try to understand. Look, I to be, open kimono, I moved my entire position, and felt a little silly about it, into a cash position after Trump got elected because these tariff policies scared the shit out of me. All right, just frankly, I agree mathematically it has to result in some kind of increased inflation. But I also understand, having seen the first time that he went after China with tariffs, it doesn't necessarily, our market is more important than you might think, right? People have to play into this market and they have to stay competitive. If it's a space that we don't create in, or we don't have an alternative nation that we can get from, but the thing that scared me was the global aspect of it, right? So if everybody's getting charged more to bring in an alternative product, where is the out? Right? Like, where is the out? So wasn't feeling great about it. I felt kind of silly over the last 7 months because asset prices have continued to rise and results have continued to be good. And inflation has been relatively small in a 2.9, 3.1% range, somewhere in that ballpark, which is certainly within the last like 8 years, a very acceptable range for, and on the lower end of inflation. But with you, totally understand the argument. There's one other thing though that just keeps me kind of hanging on this side. One, you haven't seen any devastation yet. You've actually seen asset prices continue to rise. You've seen corporate, and inflation stay relatively flat, unemployment stay good, and you've seen corporate results, like shockingly good, which is kind of crazy. But I believe that we have an existential problem, and it is due to globalization. And I believe that we have a entire generation, young generation, that is stuck with thinking that a liberal arts degree and is going to get them somewhere, and they are stuck in this with a service economy basis. And we would benefit by bringing real jobs back in as many industries as possible where we can actually compete. I don't think we should bang our heads up against the wall with like textiles and clothes, or even, TVs, maybe not, but, electronics. We need to have certain parts of electronics for sure, for our own safety, for our own military warehousing, for any number of institutional foundational aspects of what we do. Rare earth, we've got to get the processing. There's not really rare earth, it's the processing. We all understand that. And China's been allowed to have third world nation status and undercut the processing wherever anybody tried to rise up against them. And that was strategic on their part. So we do need to address those aspects. And in that process, we have the opportunity to create a new wave of jobs, a new type of jobs, for an entire generation of Americans that are getting left out completely with this globalized service economy concept where we were just going to sit on the top, buy cheap goods, and everything was going to work out. Well, that doesn't seem to be working out all that damn well from my perspective. So if there's pushback and using this as leverage, I admit that I have never seen tariffs used like this. He is using it absolutely as a hammer and a leverage.
But Todd, it was working just fine.
What do you mean was working just fine?
It was working just fine.
And where? Like, do you not perceive that we have a young class that cannot get jobs and has not been able to for some period of time, and is paying shitloads of money for degrees that are not going to get them anywhere?
Oh, wow. Todd, wow, that's crazy. Nemo, why is it that young people are paying shitloads of money for degrees?
Because colleges keep jacking up tuition.
Wow, because colleges keep jacking up tuition. When
we've created demand.
When was it, Nemo, that it started flipping from the government handling most of the cost of college to us handling most of the cost of college, and them pushing student loans on us, predatory student loans? When did that happen? Can you remind me?
Reagan.
Ronald Reagan, that's right. It was in the 1980s that they started pushing predatory loans on kids, and they started this entire cycle. And because there were predatory loans, and because they could charge more, colleges just started charging more because they could, because capitalism.
So okay.
Hey,
Look,
by the way, Nemo, remember that guy that tried to forgive a bunch of student loan debt, and then the people that you voted for completely fucking blocked that? So tell me more about how you'd love to help out the young people and get them out of student loan debt. And no, you voted all against that, didn't you?
you mean the Supreme Court that found it unconstitutional?
Who brought the suit?
Oh.
I could probably think of several institutions. I'm not sure who brought the suit. Tell me, what states?
It was the Republicans.
The Republican-led states?
Yeah, no. In fact, I think that Ted Cruz himself brought the suit. But yeah, no, I can get you the names.
I'm pretty sure. I think it was.
I know of a couple corporations that sued when they did the hiatus when he couldn't figure out what was going on. Regardless,
yeah.
I think the point isn't getting people to pay too damn much for school. I think it's driving everybody into this concept that if you go get a liberal arts degree, it's all going to work out, and we're going to do that based off of a service.
Yeah, that's absolute bullshit, and there's
Yeah,
really
and
nothing
in the
new.
liberal arts-
Yeah, no, it's
And
total
the
bullshit.
liberal the liberal arts statement is a dog whistle. Most degrees are not liberal arts.
Here.
Look, an engineering degree has absolute value, right? A psychology degree, some small percentage of them are going to find the type of work that they're looking for. A social studies degree, clearly not going to find a ton of value out there.
What?
Are you
Hey, hold
kidding?
on. What do most people become that have? And it's not social studies. It'd be a historical degree. It'd be
A professor?
Yeah, they would either become a professor or a teacher, right?
So more teachers, more expense, more administrative expense for the school, more bills to the students. It's a
Sir,
self-feeding
you need
industry.
No, sir. First off, teachers do their time as teachers and usually leave. You got to maintain that pool of teachers. We've actually lost teachers in this country.
An education degree to be a teacher
But
is
you
not
know what
a
else we've lost
social
in this country?
studies degree.
We've lost nurses. We've lost doctors.
Agreed. Nurses, great. We should absolutely invest in
Hey,
that.
Todd, just so you know, the total number of people that major in a liberal arts field, the total number in this country, the total percentage in this country is 9%, and that includes bachelor and post-secondary degrees. 9% total in the entirety of the liberal arts field. So what you just said is
9%
absolute
is what? Liberal arts?
of
9%
total
is what?
9% of both,
Degrees, of college degrees.
Yeah, of all college degrees across the United States,
liberal
only 9% are in the liberal arts field. 9%.
So
not even 10%.
I'll go look it up, but I'm going to call bullshit.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Bullshit.
Awesome. Well, that's cool. That's from the National Center for Education Statistics.gov. So good luck finding another source that contradicts that, Chief. But, you know.
I was
I'll go look it up. If I'm wrong, I am wrong, and I'll admit it, but,
I know that you're wrong because, it's fine.
I get to see the admittance, like going into like University of Texas, for instance.
How would
like
the admittance rate of anything? How would the admittance rates of anything end up with? This is what you get your bachelor's degree in, dude.
Be extremely careful
Going
where
into
you
that
go. Hold on.
school.
Be extremely careful where you go next.
Please tell me why.
No, what are you
'Cause
going to
I'm
say,
a
Todd?
graduate.
No. Come back to the. What are you going to say? What do you have to say, Todd? What is it?
I don't know what he thought I was going to say next. Tell me why.
No. I said be extremely careful because I am a graduate and a very proud graduate of the University of Texas.
So's my daughter. So great. Congratulations, Longhorn. I'm proud of you for getting a UT graduate. What did you graduate? What was your degree in?
I have a master's in political science and I have a minor in economics.
All right. And I hope that you're using it.
I would think so. I told you what I did.
Is it mortgage originator? We actually should have a conversation.
No, I'm actually a mortgage broker.
Mortgage broker. All right. So do you have Rocket or UWM as your main lender?
Oh, not Rocket. What are you talking about, Rocket? I use banks, sir. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Okay.
Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, you know what I'm saying? All the normal ones. VA, all the
So you're a
normal.
correspondent lender. So you have your own warehouse lines and you fund your own business. You have your own
Exactly.
processing and underwriting. Okay,
Exactly.
so you're not a broker.
Yes.
You can't be licensed as a broker and do that. Broker, you can only submit applications to a lender, to an actual
Oh my
lender.
Lord, dude! And you say you're from the state of Texas. A mortgage lender, somebody that actually goes out and does mortgage lending, can be anybody. That's anybody that sits in your office and does mortgage. A mortgage broker is who owns the brokerage firm.
No, that's a real
Sir.
estate brokerage. Man, it's been a while
sir.
since you've been
Oh
licensed.
my God!
What's your NMLS? I can look you up.
You do right ahead.
What's your NMLS? Figure it out, man.
All right, I'll pull it up for you. My God.
This is interesting. This is
Yeah, I
taking
mean,
a
he
turn.
doesn't even understand the difference between a broker and a fucking lender.
And this is funny.
No, you're funny.
Yeah. So, anyways, I mean, I am still super curious though why it is that you say that you would want something like college to be cheaper and all these different things. You want kids to have more jobs. All these, but you're actively voting against the people that are helping with those things. You know that, right?
Well, I do not believe that our children should be strapped with shitloads of debt for an over-expensive degree that is not going to get them into a competitive position to get a job that they need. Two things
Except for
need
the fact that I
be
just
changed
proved
there.
to you that that's
We
not the
need more
case.
jobs.
Except for the fact that I literally just
I haven't
proved
had
to
an
you that
opportunity
it's...
to look it up yet.
Okay, cool. Then I'll just put it up on the screen for
Is
you
political
again.
science liberal arts?
Okay, cool. I'll put it up on the screen for you here.
Sweet.
God, this stupid thing. Get this out of the way. Sorry. Let me close that stupid thing. Bachelor's degrees. 9% of all bachelor's degrees are in liberal arts and sciences. Master's degrees, 0.44
Wait.
of all
Liberal
master's
arts,
degrees are in liberal arts and sciences.
general studies. So
Yep.
where does psychology fit into
Overall,
that? Where does political science
10.3
fit
of
into that?
all degrees are in liberal arts and sciences. Anyways, so now that we've debunked that one,
But
But
somebody
what?
that gets a doctorate is not that's not a liberal arts degree.
I think it's by focus, but the level of degree is irrelevant in that conversation from my perspective. But perhaps there's another take on that.
There would be.
Dude,
If you have
people are
a
getting
doctorate
degrees.
in
Dude, people are getting degrees in things that they can get jobs in. You're making some weird sweeping generalization. I can literally prove to you that people are getting jobs or getting degrees in things that they can find jobs in. Like, this is demonstrably true via statistics. You're
No, it's also that-
you're just being an old guy going, these kids today don't want to getting underwater basket weaving degrees. It's just not happening. You have no proof of that.
I mean, so you said you're 52 or 50. I remember you said you're 50 something, right? It's roughly
Yep.
around there.
Yeah.
Okay, and sir, what did your college cost when you went to school? And I'm assuming it was in Texas.
No, $0.
$0. Why was it $0?
Because I went to the United States Military Academy.
Okay, so you had a scholarship burst based on service.
Yes, West Point.
Okay, that's fair enough. And then, what was your daughter's cost of college at the University of Texas?
It was free because I served coming out of Texas.
Hold on,
I-
sir. Hold on. You both couldn't use your GI Bill.
No, I don't use my GI Bill. I went to the United States Military Academy. And so then I get the Hazelwood
Okay,
Act
so I see
because
how
I'm
that-
from Texas, and I can pass that to my spouse, or I could pass that to one of my
So you used your
my
your
kids.
GI Bill. So how much did it cost you over the GI Bill for her to go?
No, you misunderstand. I didn't use my GI Bill. I went to the United States military.
Not you, your daughter.
She didn't use my GI Bill. She used the Hazelwood Act out of Texas. So Texas has a law that if you are a Texas resident and you join the service and you serve 5+ years, then you, your spouse, or your children, you can pass 140 hours for any state school down to them, tuition paid.
Okay, and then how much was it for books?
Now, tuition and books all covered. Like I paid for her
And
rent.
did she stay on campus?
She stayed on campus.
Okay, and how much was it for housing?
I think I paid $800 a month while she was there for 3 years. She graduated in 3 years.
$800 a month right there. How much was
Yeah.
it for food and transportation?
And she got a card with her tuition for some amount of her food because she got an academic, stipend because she was a valedictorian of her high school.
So she was top
So
10%, right?
top 1, yeah.
Okay. And so with all that said, you had all the breaks you could have. Now, see,
Right. So I did what I needed to
when
do
I
to
went to
earn that for my
college, I went to college on an athletic scholarship. Okay, to the
What sport you
University of
play?
Texas. Okay, so when
What sport you play?
baseball. So when I
Nice.
went,
Good program.
yeah, oh, that was then as it is now, but this is in the 80s, right? So when I went to school, what do you think my bill was at the end? Because I left baseball after my first year due to injury.
It was probably back in the 80s. It was probably like $5,000 a semester or something like
But
that.
you're actually pretty close to correct. So what is it for a semester at the University of Texas now?
Probably like 13 to 14 grand a semester.
Well, it depends on the course, right?
Yeah, I think depending. Yes.
Yeah,
I think
depending
that's
on the
accurate.
course. They have some that
Yeah,
run
yeah.
up to $20,000 and $30,000 a semester.
I'd be shocked on the 30 unless you're out of state, but okay.
Yeah, but they do have courses that cost that much.
I'll
And
take your word
so
for it.
yeah, and so when we talk about these things, this is what we're talking about with education, that things are getting lost. You're trying to use liberal arts has a and that's why I called it a dog whistle, that people shouldn't be getting educated in college. What you're really trying to do is take away the advantage that both you and your daughter had from everyone.
I don't understand how you come to that conclusion. What I'm suggesting is that society is promoting even for everybody, go to the University of Texas. If you grow up in the university in Texas, try to get into the University of Texas, whether it's their business school, whether it's their engineering school, whatever school it is, try to get into that school and get a degree from that school and whatever you can get. And therefore you'll be set up for a type of job, a better job because you did that.
But we've already
What I'm
proven that
suggesting
only
is we need to get
9%. We've already
the
proven that only
13 or whatever that flight
9%.
step.
We've already proven that only 9% get a liberal arts degree. Most everybody's degree is in some kind of field.
I hope that they all get jobs in that field and that they did it diligently. But what I'm suggesting is that does not I have
But do you think
another young
do
child.
you think that's the only thing college teaches you?
No, I know that there's all kinds. I got an engineering degree. Like I know that there are all kinds of very specific degrees for specific types of
I mean,
work.
not that you're showing a lot of it right now, but critical thinking is a big portion of college, right?
No, thank you so much. I appreciate the compliment.
But it is, right? It's a big portion of college, correct?
You certainly, that's what you would hope that you would get in the university, is the opportunity to expand your critical thinking and think about how to attack a problem and to get better at it. And I'm not 100% sure that that's what's being received in many of these schools. And I think there's a big hierarchy.
How many
as far as
how many people go to college? Let's just state the University of Texas, for example, because I actually know the number. How many people don't make it through their first semester?
the University of Texas, I would think would be really low.
It's actually really high.
That's crazy.
Okay, no,
Then
it's
they were not
actually- it's
prepared to go
actually-
to.
it's
They were not
actually a
prepared to go
reason,
to school in
because
the
see,
first
back in
place.
the 1980s, back in the 1980s, we didn't teach for a test. Okay, when we went through high school, when I went through high school in the 1980s, we didn't teach for a test. We actually taught to get us ready for college if we were capable of going. That was really the goal of most high schools. okay, when we went to school back then. And the problem is now, and what most colleges have reporting, and you can see several reports on this, is a big number of students that go to college today are not prepared for the college workload.
Okay. I'm right there with you. I don't know how that kind of goes in what I'm trying to say.
Sir, if we continue to go after things like the Department of Education, and
Why did those
we
30% show up
continue
there?
to go after public schools because of programs that were put in place by Republicans, things like No Child Left Behind, which is an absolute disaster to public education. Okay? When we continue down these roads, these are what we need to fix. When I can walk down the street and I can pass 10 people, and out of those 10 people, maybe one understands a little bit about how our government works, that's a problem.
I agree with you. I mean, I guess I would just push back by saying, why did 30%, if somebody was saying 30% of the kids fall out after the first year, which I find stunning at a state school, but let's just say that's accurate. What are we
That's
doing
probably a
wrong
national
as a
that's
society?
probably a national average.
What are we doing as a society that makes those 30% think that that university was the right thing for them to go after? What I'm
Well,
suggesting
it wouldn't have
is that
mattered, and in a lot of these cases, it wouldn't have mattered what university they went to. They were not
should they feel like they have to go to a university? Should
I'll
they go
answer
into
that.
some
I got
other
you, Todd.
technical?
I'll help you out with that one. Absolutely. We should be pushing technical schools. We should be pushing the trades. Do you know who one of the biggest 100%? Hey, Nemo or Val, who's one of the biggest funders of trade and technical schools in America today?
I'm going to say, I mean, I really don't know. I've never actually looked that up. Go ahead.
Nemo, do you have a guess?
I really don't know.
I'd say corporations.
You say corporations?
That would be my guess.
Yeah. The Department of Education. Did you know that the Department of Education sends billions of dollars to support both trade and technical schools every year?
Well, they need to spend a little bit promoting them as well. Then,
oh well, they would, except for the fact that their budget's now been completely slashed, and they're going to be going away. So good luck.
Well, they weren't being very effective if all these kids are showing up for school and dropping out in the first year.
Has nothing to do. That has nothing to do with that, and it is a shame that we don't try to encourage kids a bit more. Oh wait, that's because all these programs are being cut at schools, like shop class and different things like that, or home ec or whatever it may be. And the reason that is because schools are cutting extracurriculars because they don't have the money to pay for educational stuff because our educational system is dependent on where you live, and it depends on who's paying property taxes around you, which is why we have a major issue in this country of kids not getting equal education because it's based on how wealthy it is where you live or the state that you live in and how much they value education, like my state, Massachusetts, which is number one in education in the country, because they won't fuck around with it and they do whatever they can to make sure that all of our schools are as equal as possible or as good as possible. And now it's not possible for them to be equal, but they do their very best. And because of that, we have kids here who can compete with the world in test scores, while the rest of the country can't.
Yeah, I don't think there's a parent on either side of the aisle wouldn't raise their hand and say, look, we need to make sure that our kids are getting a great education.
Well, sure,
I think
except for the fact
the
that
biggest difference I have, is that the assumption that a central power at the top of the federal government is going to be the best distribution of those funds and is going to create a better outcome when we have decades of literally we're all sitting here talking about it, whether it doesn't matter what party's in charge at whatever time, but they just failed and the kids aren't getting what they need out of it.
Awesome. Awesome, Todd. Then tell me something. Did we go to the moon in 1969?
Yes.
Awesome. What happened in 1958 to spur that on?
Tell me. I mean,
No, it was a
clearly,
seminal. It was a seminal moment in human history. The Russians sent up Sputnik, right?
Sure. Okay.
That was the kickoff to
The space
the
race.
space race, right? Now
Yep.
you would say, well, that was what got us. That thing kicked it off, and you're like, yeah, that kicked off the space race, but that's not exactly what got us to the moon. You know what got us to the moon was
government funding of NASA. Yeah.
No. Well, government funding of NASA, sure, but no. It was Dwight D. Eisenhower, the Republican in the White House, seeing the videos of that, the film of that, and knowing what happened, and him turning to his cabinet and to the rest of the people in government and going, we're behind. We have to do something like this. Let's do something about this. We need scientists. We need engineers. We need mathematicians. Do it. And do you know what they signed a couple of months later? The National Defense of Education Act. And what did the National Defense of Education Act do? It started a federally centralized funding system to promote science and math and engineering and all these things. And it started pumping funding into STEM programs in schools all across our country, not just public K through 12, but also colleges too. And what happened by 1969?
Yeah, Matt. It's Matt, right?
Yeah.
Like, was that a situation where there was disgruntled because only certain students were getting access to those STEM programs, and like it wasn't uniformly distributed across every single school out there, or was there a drive towards finding the best students and getting them going? And I ask, a little bit tongue in cheek, but was the definition of
If you're
success
asking if
actually
everything was,
creating the
if you're
students?
asking super disingenuously if everything was really equal in the early 1950s and early 1960s, no, it wasn't. But this was a case
But
of the United States government.
is it goal
Hey,
oriented?
bud. Hey, Todd. You just said that central funding from the U.S. government doesn't work to fix education, and I literally can prove to you from a statistical standpoint that we improved all of our test scores against the entire world in a 10-year period and literally sent a man to the moon on the back of the National Defense of Education Act. It is directly correlated to the funding from that act that gave us everything, and you can go and research this. It's very public. It's very public knowledge.
It's a very test-oriented outcome, right?
It also produced the largest numbers of college graduates over that 10-year period. Okay, and sir, one other thing, you live in Texas, North Texas, South Texas, Central,
Houston.
Okay, South Texas. So I live in the DFW area. So if you live in Houston, I'm pretty sure you know who South Lake Carroll is.
Of course I do.
Okay.
Great football program.
Great football program. Thank you very much. We love South Lake Carroll, right?
Sure. I like good football programs.
At what cost did South Lake Carroll come to our community?
Tell me about it. I don't know. I don't live there.
This is what we talk about. South Lake Carroll is one of the richest areas per capita in the United States. Okay? Their tax dollars go specifically to those schools. Now, can you tell me who our last Democratic governor was in the state of Texas?
Ann Richards?
That is correct. What was our ranking in education at the end of Ann Richards' tenure?
Probably, I don't actually know the answer. I'd say it's somewhere in the middle, probably. I don't know.
We were actually number 7 in the country, and she was pissed off that we weren't number 1.
Hey, Ann Richards was beloved.
Okay.
She's a great fiscal conservative too.
What's fiscal conservative? Ann Richards. Why did Ann Richards let the lottery be created in the state of Texas?
To create more revenue for the state.
To create more revenue for something very specific in the state.
Education. Still
correct. Education. Who pulled all that education funding?
The lottery's still spent for it today.
No. Who pulled all that education funding from the lottery for education?
Pretty sure the lottery's still spent for it today.
No, sir, you would absolutely be wrong. It was actually pulled by George W. Bush, which was the next governor of our state in his first year in office, by the way. And most of the lottery went to what they called the state emergency fund. Okay, that is what happened in the state of Texas. Now, what are we ranked today?
18.
42nd.
In what, public school?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting.
42nd.
Like we have Miles down here in Houston, right? So the Houston School District, HISD, was abysmal. We had 75% of our schools failing. And so the state actually ended up taking over conservatorship over HISD and put in Michael Miles, who is he's actually a West Point grad as well. And he came in with a completely different concept. And again, we got to give it time to see it out. It's the biggest uproar ever, the changes he's making. He basically built all the curriculums to be standardized. He made sure that teachers understood how to teach those curriculums. He started to promote different opportunities for outstanding students. And in 2 years, I think we had, and he created 3 tiers of schools. If you were an A+ school, then your curriculum basically didn't need to change as much. If you were in the middle, you had to get online with this. But if you were in the bottom, you absolutely had no leeway from a teacher union and or teacher perspective. And the results, and it's just 2 years, test-based, right? Like, who knows? But how else would we know? And the results are absolutely freaking stunning. So I know Texas still has a big heart for education. I think what we have is, if we're 42nd in the country, are a bunch of independent school districts that are jacking up their systems and could really use some like oversight from an institution that gives a shit, like the state. Like, Matt, you're so proud of Massachusetts outcome. That's a state-driven concept, right? Did that come from some overriding federal government, or was the federal government like really part of that, or was that different?
No. It came from the Democrats who've run the state for fucking ever, who pump shitloads of money into the education system. See, here,
Democrats run Houston.
Yeah. Hey, what's your average class size in? Oh, they won Houston. That doesn't.
Democrats
That
run
doesn't.
Houston.
They what?
Run Houston.
Yeah, that doesn't change anything if your state isn't doing the right things. It's the education
But when your
happens at the
Texas
state level.
comes in and takes over the independent school district, and all of a sudden it's
if you'll allow
improved.
me to explain, I can explain to you. In Texas, do you know what your average class size is for elementary school? What's your average elementary school class size?
I'm totally gonna guess, man. Like 22.
Okay, I don't know, Val, if you know in Texas, but or if anyone in the chat knows, if you guys,
I'm actually looking that up now.
Okay, over 30, 32 to 35. Wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing too.
Okay, at my my daughter's 30 plus, I'm seeing. Okay, yeah. All right, so let's just call it 30. Let's say it's 30. In Massachusetts, my daughter, who's she's in 4th grade now, she was in 3rd grade last year. She had a class of 15 last year in her public school, and the principal apologized to me because their goal is to have a class size closer to 11. So that's number one. Number two is my daughter has never once been given a list at the beginning of the year for school supplies. We never pay for school supplies. The state pays for every kid's school supplies top to bottom. Not pencils, not erasers, not crayons, not markers, not folders, not notebooks, not anything. I've never gone school shopping for any sort of materials, period, the end, done. That's it.
And actually his claim
his claim that the schools are doing better under the new supervisor is actually false.
By
And
what
then-
standard?
And then,
Please
hold
drop
on,
it.
I'll explain. Let me just explain one other thing to you that's super important. In Massachusetts, no child ever has to pay for breakfast or lunch at school. No one has to file a financial disclosure. No one has to request it. No one has to show a card. Any kid, any day, anytime can walk into school and eat breakfast and lunch every single day that school is open, period, the end. When you combine just doing those simple things, keep class sizes down, make sure that kids have all the supplies that they need, feed them, because there have been studies done that show that that's really fucking important, and then also obviously pay teachers and do those things. That's what needs to be done. And if the Democrats were allowed to do those things across the country because that's what they want to do, then we could probably have better schools. But the Republicans keep blocking those things. The Republicans keep saying, no, we don't want lunch for kids at school, because why would we feed children? That would be terrible. Don't give kids food.
Hey, I have no beef with making sure that kids have access to food at school.
But you
I
voted
don't have
for
any
the
beef with
people that ended free school lunches at the federal level.
I believe that the states can provide food to the schools.
But this falls under the same exact thing I was talking about with using the high school I used earlier in Tarrant County. Oh, where'd he go?
Nope. He was raptured.
But, yeah, but Harris County has schools that rank anywhere from 3rd, 7th, 8th, 12th, 14th, 21st. You this first page, but every one of these schools that are ranked right here in the A+ rating, every one of those schools are very, very affluent areas of Houston.
Yeah.
Okay. But let's get down here to the not so affluent. This is the not so humble Wesley in Harris County. There's 10 pages of schools here, by the way, in Houston. And these are all just high schools. So, you see that? Just high schools.
Yeah.
But they range anywhere from A to D. But overall ranking in the state is actually about 2% better in 2019 than it is in 2025.
He's coming in to fix a problem. If you would take 2024's rankings and compare them to 2025's, you would see a 60% shift across all the schools.
Sir, I just gave you 2019. That was under the old superintendent.
No. Miles has been there for exactly 1 year, 1.5 years, and he's made that.
Understand what I just said.
Are you suggesting that from 2020 to 2023?
2020, all schools took a hit in the state of Texas, as well as all schools across the nation. So 2020 is really not a good indicator on schools, because most kids didn't go to school, right?
Okay.
We found out what we found out there is computer learning at home did not work, right?
I hate to break it to you, Todd, but our friend James has paid the fee. He'd like to move on from you, so but we appreciate you coming up.
All right. Well, I
Have a good
appreciate
rest
the
of your night.
time, guys. Thanks,
Have a good rest of
everybody.
your night. Thanks. W's to James in the chat. W's to James in the chat. He's paid the $20 kick fee. He says, I can't take any more of Todd for the love of God.
I agree.
So,
We did cover a wide range of subjects, though.
did not know where that conversation was going to go at any point in time.
I'll call it productive because people learn a lot in that discussion.
There was a lot there. Once again, if you voted for Donald Trump, hop in the box, guys. Just looking for Trump voters right now. We're getting a little on the late side, but just we could probably do one more if we can get one more Trump supporter. Let's see what we can get. One more Trump supporter. Hop in the box. You can have your pick. Hop in. Let's have a chat. You learned a lot about Massachusetts tonight. Yeah, I mean, our school system isn't perfect. It's not perfect. I mean, obviously there are some schools that are better than other schools. There are always things that can be improved, and it still does depend on towns in which you live and different things like that. But they work very hard at trying to make things equal across the board, or distribute funding the right ways, address issues in lower income areas, et cetera, to do all the above. It's okay, Grizzly. We're almost done. I appreciate you, friend, but they've done a good job with the likes and everything. You're good, man. We're just gonna see if we can get one more Trump supporter up. But anyways, yeah, they do their best, and I've been impressed. This is my into my 5th year now, having a kid in public elementary school here, and hearing stories from other parents in other states, talking to my sisters who don't have kids in public school in Florida, and they only put them in private school, and it's not because they want to put them in private school, it's because they have issues with the public schools where they live, and they don't like that. I feel very lucky that I have good public schools where we are, and that I'm able to do it. And I accept the fact, very much so, that lots of people don't have that. So I acknowledge the fact that that we're very, like I said, very lucky to have that. So, All right. Let's see.
Question for you, Matt. Do y'all do a tax sharing program up there between the communities and the schools?
It's like a when you say like a tax sharing program, what do you mean exactly? Like
the tax. Okay, see, in Texas right now, the way it's set up is, and the reason you'll see affluent communities with really, really good schools and then non-affluent communities with really, really poor schools is because the funding comes solely from their tax base. Does that make sense?
Oh, you're saying, I got you. Well, see, here in Mass, not only, so we do, I got you. So yes, we do have that. There's actually a lot of, it's something, it's called like the Fair Share Amendment. And that was it's a thing that goes between the municipalities here. And I think it basically, we call it the millionaire's tax, and it adds an extra 4%. It adds an extra. So we have two things. So we have municipalities do share certain revenues, and there is community sharing. But we also have now that Fair Share Amendment. We call it the millionaire's tax, and there's an extra 4% if your income for a year is over $1 million. You pay an extra 4%, and almost all of that money is being funneled now into education as well. And they've raised, I don't know. God, what was the last number? I want to say it was like 1.2 billion was the last I saw that they had raised off of it since it came into in 2022.
And they probably try to disperse it per student.
Oh yeah, I mean I think they do their best to try to even that they try to even out. But I do think that they try to disperse based on need. There are obviously far more affluent communities here, and
right. They probably hold a fund back. Yeah, they probably hold a fund back for schools that are having issues to try to address those issues, would be my guess. But see, here in the state of Texas, like when I pay my taxes, I pay to what's called Birdville ISD. All my school taxes go to Birdville ISD. Okay, it does not go to, you understand what I'm saying, other communities.
I got you.
So that's why we have schools that's why our schools are the way they are. That's why you see such a big disparity in Houston. And Houston's a great example. I mean, a lot of people don't realize how big those 10 pages of schools I went through, that's all high schools in Houston, if that gives you an idea of how big Houston is.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we talk about these things, like Katy, which is in Houston in Harris County, they only pay those people in those neighborhoods, which are probably one of the most affluent neighborhoods in Houston, only pay to KDISD.
Got it. I got it. Well, see, the thing is that it was 2.5 billion in math. Thank you, Chris. Boy, I was off by $1 billion. Holy cow! I guess it's been a while since I checked. Obviously, our towns and our city, like our taxes go directly. So, for example, like in where my daughter goes to school, they're building they're doing renovations to the high school. They're building part of a new part of the high school, whatever it is, and obviously that's like, okay, this is your tax dollars, and come to the meetings and et cetera, and that is like this town's responsibility.
Due to population growth.
Yeah, exactly.
Due to population growth, most likely.
Exactly. Yeah. And you're like, fine. But then also there is, I know that there's a disbursement of funds that does come from the state. I know that there are other things that are at play. But obviously the local municipality does have, I mean, your tax dollars are mostly going to it, but the state is trying to do its best to even things out, or to help out the communities, different things like that. Like I said, the millionaire's tax is really.
Oh, that's an amazing idea.
Love that one. Yeah, those
are the things, because who suffers who ends up suffering is one of two things. One, schools that don't have a large population, right? Like rural areas, okay, that don't have a large population, or areas that aren't affluent, okay, that have, you know what I'm saying, a very low income rate within the areas. So those are the areas that get hurt the most, because they don't get the additional funding they need to try to pick up the schools. This is where we run into problems in this state. And Mike's right down there. Abbott is defunding public schools, by the new, because we're doing the private school card thing. So that's also going to hurt public schools.
You guys are doing a voucher program?
A voucher program, yes.
That's no good. That whole thing they're doing it in Florida, like that's just awful. What that's doing.
A Republican. Well, you heard what he did to get it passed, right?
No.
He forced members of the state Senate to stay in session until they passed it.
He forced them to stay in session?
Mm-hmm. Do you remember the whole people running away from the state thing?
Well, yeah, of course I remember that. Wait, was that part of that? Was it?
Well, yes.
Well, I didn't realize that was for. I mean, I knew that they were. But they were doing that was the redistricting. But I didn't know
the
that
redistricting and school vouchers. He'd done it.
Okay.
That's not the first time he had done that. Yeah, that's not the first time he had done that. I mean, the redistricting was one, but it also happened with the school vouchers. He forced them to stay in session until they passed it. He kept trying to bring them in. Democrats kept trying to leave, and so they wouldn't have quorum, and he kept forcing them back in, but held them in session until they passed it. Republicans were coming up on stage. One specific Republican came up on stage and said, "This is nothing but welfare for the wealthy." That's what he called it, and that was a Republican.
I mean, it's just, yeah. Vouchers are just bad news, top to bottom. It really siphons money away from public schools, and it just gives extra help to the wealthy folks who don't need any additional help. I mean, really, really embarrassing. And it's very disappointing, all top to bottom. Man, I had totally forgotten about that. I had totally forgotten that you guys had another walkout.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. We tried everything in the world to get this done, because it had failed. It didn't pass. It failed. It didn't pass. It failed. It didn't pass. It failed 3 times. And then he put him under a tightrope.
Damn.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
You guys have gotta vote Hot Wheels out of there. Gotta get rid of Hot Wheels. Man.
I just starting to call him Mini Trump.
Roller
It's ridiculous.
Roller Trump.
Roller Trump. That's a good one.
Thank you. I like it. Guys, do we have any other Trump supporters in here? Do we have any more Trump supporters in here before we wrap up? Any more any of you guys Trump supporters who want to come on up and have a conversation? And any of you guys, that'd be great. I'd like to have a chat with you. But yeah, I don't the education thing just always kills me. I just, when people are like, what do we think the centralized governments? I'm like, you mean like every other country that's beating us? Every other country that's beating us, that's doing a better job with educating their kids, that's how they do it. I'm like, well, we have states. I'm like, and I don't.
Right, the states can't. I mean, people even know, as wealthy as Texas is, Texas is still a taker state. Texas takes more from the federal government than it puts in.
Wait a second. I thought Texas was still in the. I thought Texas was still in the net positive. It's not.
No, they're a taker state.
Wait, Nemo, did you know that? I thought they were still a feeder state.
I thought they were net positive too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're actually a taker state. We receive more money. We receive more federal money than we pay in.
Damn. Oh, I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to double check. Where is that, Val? Where are you getting that? Where is that coming?
You can pull it up. Just look up Texas and what it pays out and what it takes in.
All right.
Now, a lot of that has to do, I will say, with immigration.
Got it. Check it out. Hey, Erica. Hey, friend. All right, guys. Well, I guess we're probably not going to get any more Trump supporters. I guess. So probably going to wrap things up and say thanks for coming in tonight. Thanks for hanging out with us. Guys, make sure that you've dropped your follows. Make sure you're following my main account up here. Make sure you're following our friend Nemo, and then his many other multiple accounts. Follow our friend Val over here, who came in and hung out with us tonight. That was fun. Always a good time. Obviously, we had our friend Erica earlier. We appreciate all of your support, you guys. Thank you very much for hanging with us and supporting. It's really great. We appreciate it.
I got to ask Nemo this. Nemo, are you catching attacking in a number of accounts?
What?
Are you catching attacking in a number of accounts?
No, I don't think so. I think he's still ahead.
No,
of me.
okay, because everybody knows. I mean, attacking is like 13, 14 accounts.
Yeah, I'm not that far up yet.
Oh my God, he's not quite there. I'll tell you guys what. Let's do a raid. I was gonna say Manda. I don't think Manda's on. I don't think we've gone over to Santana before. Should we go over to Santana? What do you think, Nemo?
Yeah.
Well, Santana's fun. He's fun.
Yeah, he's fun. Let's go over to Santana. I'm gonna put him in the chat right there. And you can tell him that Nemo and I sent you. Wait, Manda's on? Is she? I didn't see her. Is she doing debates or did she switch over? Well, you know what? Either way, let's give it. We'll go to Santana. We'll go to Santana. I bet you tomorrow night we'll go to Manda anyway. If he's still on, we'll give it to Santana, and our friend Erica, our other Erica is over there. We'll go say hi to other Erica. Okay, so let's go say hi, guys. We'll be back tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern, and let's run over to raid Santana. Good night, Val. Nemo, I'll talk to you later, friend. Get you guys.
Night, everyone.
Night, man.
All right, bye, guys. And to our friends over on the tube, thank you guys so much for hanging out. And don't forget to grab that like and subscribe button. And we'll see you back tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern. Bye, guys.